Hello, hello, Agna. Hello, E484. Can you hear me? Is my microphone okay? I hate how my hair on this side, there's like a gap. I can't make it not gappy. Look at it, it's so gappy. Hello, Royce. Hello, Agna. Hello, November. Thank you very much. Too old for tea. Too old for tea. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. The VODs I need to watch are... these 3 VODs at least. And I'm gonna have a look at my notes to see what other things I might pick up on. But I need to watch Vitality versus Photon Split. I've watched their Fracture. I remember their Fracture. I don't remember the split. I need to watch KC versus Na'Vi and Team Liquid versus Fnatic on Split and Icebox. So some bangers to be honest. I think I'll probably skim the KC one like properly because I'll be honest, these are much more exciting to watch. So I'll probably skim this one a bit more. But yeah, some banger games. So questions for this VOD are like my general consensus on hey Kim. The first time we have 4 genuinely decent teams, maybe even 5 with Navi. Okay, you're coping. You're coping. To me, it's like there's a humongous gap right now, I think. And then you mean then you can look at your Navis, I think. And I think this is in order. The A is pretty good, but the problem is that in Americas, I genuinely think we might be looking at 3 S teams, potentially. Like G2, Sen, MIBR might actually be S, if that makes sense. G2 for sure, though. Any advice for casting? Are you a color caster or a play-by-play caster? The issue of me giving advice for casting is that I get carried by Pansy, so I don't actually have much advice to give you. And my experience is probably very different than you know, you're probably not being thrown into the deep end, so it's probably a very different thing. Yeah, I think I've had a very unique experience casting, so I appreciate being asked for advice, though. That makes me feel at least, you know, reasonable. But
literally the point that we're at. If this fails,
maybe go to Sideshow stream and ask him.
like that is the spot that they have decided to pick this on.
Right. So wait, just for some context, so Fracture, what I thought went wrong for Vitality, because I think I need to hit some overarching points with Vitality, is that on their attack side, specifically on this round, they tried to play simple some rounds, but they didn't know how to attack simply, if that makes sense, on Fracture. They didn't group up in the right spots. They tried to do an A exec through A main and didn't use Sands, and then got blocked and then went Sands. And it was really like they didn't quite, I don't think they quite understood how to play simple Fracture. And then in other rounds later on, they were trying to play like more complicated Fracture. And I don't think this team can do complicated right now. Like, I think they should be looking at playing their simple style when they can, but they really need to understand the map theory well enough to know where to go with 4 people at once. And yeah, they look much worse when they tried to mid round, I think, right now. And then on the flip side, on their defense, what was wrong with their defense? Durka was trying to buy the op from this round, and it got 0 impact. And on Fracture, it's I think it's risky to buy the op really early on. So that was one problem. But they also just didn't. From what I remember, they were trying to hard hold sites against the KO. So Les got completely fucked. And then they stopped hard holding sites and they went for a flank retake. And Durka just kind of ran in and died. So nothing went right on the defense at all. So that's my TLDR summary of Fracture off the top of my head. Neon seems like a weird agent to op. Yes. What's my thoughts on the whole Trek situation? I wish Durka didn't take the bait, is how I describe that one. I wish he didn't take the bait.
What I was mentioning is that since the Star Partnership, Foot has always made that second master of each year since they've been in. So
okay, so we want to look at Vitality mostly here, because we've only had one game to watch them. So what did they do wrong? So immediately off the bat, they are faking B. Immediate paranoia on B to fake. They're very lucky over here that I did not see them. If this was simply just a Prowler or someone at the top of the ramp, this strat is completely like is kind of not working already. I do like the fact that you can fake with the Yoru though. This is alright. But they've not. Why have Foot not bitten? I'm doing this VOD review almost like I should be quicker than this because I need to be quicker than this, but oh, Safe actually. Oh, that's so unlucky. So Safe actually, because he chunked Zeus down, Zeus TP's out, and now they've actually got a strong side on A. So ironically, if this was actually just a hit right now, they probably would win the round, but that's unlucky.
Will do a lot of early damage, but he's also taken a lot of early damage.
So nice Satra from Durka. Yeah, and then I don't know what the fuck Zeus is doing there. And now, if this plant is secured, they have lurks here, they can play for ramp priority, then Vitality have won this round very easily. Yeah, Vitality can't lose this round now.
Without a captain and a classic.
I'd almost skip this round. If I was just coaching, watching this as a coach, I skip this round. Like the smoke could come in, I guess, from Atta captain.
They've got to be a little bit careful. Spam's coming through. They're going to try and body block this and just stick it, but there comes the double.
Krax has done his best, but I don't think it matters.
That time is ticking away. Less is going to be revealed. He knows roughly where he is. Needs to land the shot. He's run out of bullets.
Okay, so it's closer than it should be. Anti-eco.
I think part of I think putting him lineups or this for now.
Fine.
The easy side.
So Les gets pushed here. They just accelerate into B split. That's fine.
Have himself diving in on the duelists. That's a dangerous duo for anyone to deal with, and then some of that supportive utility has been fantastic. Seavoff, we've already.
Am I gonna review APAC games too? No, I'm doing plat chat for EMEA. So I'm watching for plat chat. EMEA.
A lot of that later space as your opponents, at least in there, might hopefully.
I mean, I forgot this narrative too. My God, I forgot this. Yeah. Let me write this down. How have I forgotten this? Safe on Yoru. Just don't put your IG on fucking Duelist is the answer. I wonder if they really wanted to play this comp. You just switch these two probably. But just don't play this comp. Yeah, just don't play this
play
comp.
in the early rounds.
This is literally what
stage.
made that like Haven comp work initially. Was okay, we're just gonna take. Say,
I mean, I just don't think. I think
in the world last year,
if
or
you
at least
okay. So if like let's set like some kind of context now. If they're gonna play this composition where safe is the IGL and the duelist, they have to have a style of split attack where they're going to send it, I think. Or at least pretend that they're defaulting the map and then send it so that they can just be on the same page. If Safe's trying to do mid-round IGLing, which clearly isn't been working the best, whilst playing a duelist, they have lost this game. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm putting out the thesis that maybe what we're about to see is them not really understanding how to play the simple exit game on this map, which should be their strength because they have a bunch of farming players and a composition that allows for it. And the reason why mid-round stuff wouldn't work is because they haven't shown to be a fantastic mid-round kind of team, default team, and Safe is playing the IGL.
And then we're gonna take Durka and put him on a duelist, probably the best duelist in the EMEA last year.
This comp is fine to play mid-roundy. This comp is the mix between fast aggression and mid-roundy. It's like the most balanced composition, I feel like, in terms of like what you can do on attack side, because you can kind of send it, but you don't have much support. So you do have the two duelists to go in, but a team who's very good at playing against that style will beat you, and then you can kind of default because you have the fade, but you're not going to be able to like brute force through this space. But if a team doesn't have great mid holds, then you can win that too. I think this comp does run into some problems at times, not having like a breach, to be honest.
So it's like,
or even Teo instead of fade. I'm so surprised that teams don't run, I don't, like solo Teo. Like, I think people don't understand Teo at all. Like, it really annoys me that, like, they think that you have to have Teo breach. Like, in this comp, I think that Teo should be played. But it is what it is. Like, Fade is still very strong, though. On this map specifically, so I guess it's fine, but... Is solo Teo good after the nerf still? No, Teo in general is dog shit after the nerf, but... So straight away we see... I'm seeing one of our duelists on this side of the map. And then... Safe entry defaulting on A. They're about to reveal Paranoia or something? Yeah. I don't... I think teams that start ramp defaults... I don't know why they start games with ramp defaults, to be honest.
That is the difference, though, is that I think we can expect that Safe is gonna...
What did they actually get out of them? Nothing. They just died. They're 2-0 up with decent-ish economy. And they take an opening duel on ramp solo. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they're playing like that, to be honest. Why don't they just go do a strat or something? Why don't... I don't...
At times is the hardest player in the league to play against. Individually, whether things have gone
do a strat or do a normal default. That's not ramp. I don't know what the obsession is with ramp. I don't get it.
Oh, just yesterday. He still had some flashes in the pan even when they weren't able to take that.
You've been bamboozled by the title. Oh, sorry.
Gotta be careful. A man down
Speed.
already, 3 rifles in hand. At least it was 3 players on the A side.
It's because when I do my stream, I got some fucking other thing that multi-streams for me, and so the titles get fucked or something.
Deep information as you're highlighting towards B. Passive heaven.
Were you surprised we didn't see more Teo Deadlock? I'm surprised we didn't see more Teo Deadlock. But I don't think we necessarily should have, if that makes sense. I think if I was coaching a team that was not expected to win, I would run Teo Deadlock. If I was on a team that was expected to win, I wouldn't run Teo Deadlock. I don't think it's amazing. I just think they could catch teams off guard who don't know how to play. If that makes sense. I don't think that on this map. I think on this map particularly, I don't think that Deadlock is that amazing. You can do your nets here, but I don't think any other net is that impactful. And then by the time, like, the other nets are going to be nets that are used to deny choke points at that point. And I think that against the compositions that we see played on this map, these nets don't actually do that much, in my opinion.
Just passive control across the board, really respecting some of that early duel.
You ran it on your bad maps? That makes sense.
Holding on the site, that nade though is going to force cracks into the
Like,
open. A battle
I think about the game in terms of, like, quite a lot of the time is like top 4 global, and then like below that, and then like EMEA, like domestic, if you know what I mean. Like, does this thing work here? Does it work in the playoffs at global? And then does it work domestic? Like, it has to work here. So like for my teams, it was like we're trying to push for this if we can. So trying to run comps that don't just get immediately boomed by someone with a good game plan.
Zeus comes in to fill the gap. He'll be
15
waiting
seconds.
patiently as the time ticks away. Yeah, they need to make a move. Although now he's been spotted. No more under.
Sorry, let me watch this. So they died A. They prod middle.
3 rifles in hand.
There's 3 people.
It was
For some reason, Yetage's left fence. What is he left fence for?
at times is the hardest player in the league.
I don't know why Yetage is leaving vents.
Against, individually, whether things are back to some flashes in the pan, even when
They drone, re-clear B main. Beautiful. From foot.
they weren't able to take that victory over Fnatic.
And the response is...
A man down already.
I don't understand foot, man. Like, I really don't understand them. They've re-cleared B main, and they have all info on B main, and they have info early mail room, and they're rotating. What they should be doing is, like... I mean, Zeus is fucked up because he doesn't have a second TP. But if Zeus put his TP this side, and then they just played... Like... I mean, we should have a line down here, probably, but... I don't really understand what is informing this rotation right now.
It was 3 players on the A side.
And then Krax is like by himself now?
Information might just pull one back.
Expecting some of that.
It's so, like, look how disconnected they are. Like, they're so disconnected. They've given up all of this space for no reason. I'm gonna be frank, Foot do not know how to play defense. Like, this protocol that they had here, the redrone B main, this is like trophy winning protocol. This is beautiful. The reaction off of it, they have no fucking clue what they're doing, I don't think. Like, it looks so awkward. Like, they have all this info and they're doing nothing with it.
Definitely got to be careful. A man, 3 players on
Like,
the A side.
they even prowler A main and they catch people here, and they're not immediately trying to. They don't know what to do after that. It's weird. And so they go into like the worst A hold I've ever seen.
Some of that early dueling ability that Vitality have. Holding on
Do I still enjoy Valorant? Of course.
A battle Dirk is happy to take. Sight now under pressure. Zeus comes in to fill the gap. He'll be
15
waiting
seconds.
patiently as the time ticks away. Yeah, they need to make a move. Although now he's been spotted. No more element of surprise. Big swing from Seavoff. They found their pick, but they need the plant. 6 seconds on the clock and out of ammo. Yetaje goes down.
I mean, luckily that Foot just flooded and win, and they had the 5v4. But that was really bad by Foot. The way that they did that.
Got on for this trial.
Certainly, but not off rip. Gonna wait a moment. Let that orb go up to block out the line of sight. That was Foot.
So Foot are conceding middle.
Let's orb, of course, Yetaje.
I'm surprised they're conceding middle against this composition. Like usually you'll see teams at the moment struggle so much with this orb. Like I'm kind of doing this VOD review as if like I'm doing a normal VOD review and I'm not doing it for selfish purposes. Someone asked, did I help? Was I helping PaperX at all? I might have been helping PaperX, yes. Like teams seem to just int against this orb, right? Like they don't wait for it to go down and they seemingly like just throw util at random through it and don't actually like smoke this off and go through, like wait for it to go down and go through together to like isolate out vents. Comps that have Teo and Breach in it, I think that it technically should be impossible for the Viper player to sit here because the Breach and the Teo can just like Breach, stun, Teo, Sabo out as long as you smoke this properly and scale in, right? But with the comp that Vitality are playing, they have neither of these things to punish the Viper. So I'm very surprised to see Yetache leaving vents that early to what is essentially a Boombot and a Prowler. Like, as long as this orb is up and he's not isolated by himself, he can stay here quite long. I do like when teams can play like outside the vents and stuff, like when they play like Melroom and stuff, but I'm a bit concerned why. Like, you need to show early, you need to command respect early with this orb in middle, I feel like, and really limit test if the other team can actually take middle from you. Because you can win games of split if the other team is just dog shit going through this orb, basically. And Yatache isn't doing that right now.
Not off rip.
Or this mid control.
Gonna wait a moment. Let that orb go up.
But I don't hate the Vipers who play Melroom.
Block out the line of sight.
But you need to see this reaction with the drone again. Oops. We need to see that reaction. Like when we lose middle now, when Foot lose middle, we're gonna need to see Yatache. We need to see Fallen drone back B main so that we can get B main line again. Because we lose this space, we get back the space, you know. So yeah, so it is a protocol they're doing. So I like this from Foot. It's very good. Thanks, Ladek. Thanks for the sub. I apologize for the annoying sound. Do you agree with Na'Vi logic that Astra is better than Viper in double smokes combos? No, I think that they've lost their fucking minds. Yeah. I think that you should be looking at whether Viper's better than Omen in that combination. If that makes sense. If you're gonna play Astra. Like you're telling me on a map like on Split, they think that Astra. Okay, on Split, I'll give them something on Split. I'll give them some benefit of the doubt on Split because like you can't like you can the stars here, and here are actually extremely impactful. But and so like I would have a genuine discussion about that in good faith. I could not have a genuine discussion in good faith about it on Lotus though. Like if they were like just like if they thought that like you could even attempt to beat this orb or like what this provides on attack side, then they've lost their minds. I wish I could just say that on the analyst desk. I'd just be like they've lost their fucking minds, but I'll get there. I'll get there. I'll figure out ways to word it.
Solid position early on.
So Foot Vitality have been given map control here. The problem is that Foot have a good reclear protocol. So Foot are doing very good things. Like I don't genuinely think that Foot are quite weak on defense sides, but this is an extremely good protocol. And you can see that like Vitality aren't spread across the map appropriately. So Foot should know that Vitality are going to A split right now, and they should rotate fast.
Solid position early
or are they just going to stay 3B? They're just going to stay 3B. I don't. I don't hate it because we got this, which wins, and then I guess we have the Yoru who got early contact, but I think at this point, I don't mind the Viper starting to cheat the rotation.
The captain pushing up, and I don't know that they're going to stop.
Gonna come down down to how much can Zeus do. In fact, it's nothing.
Oh yeah, look, like this from Foot, like this is really nice. But why the fuck is Yetterjay here? Like we're pushing out. Like we don't need, like if Vitality send 5 people here right now, it's unlikely. And even if they do, we have control. We'll have control of this. We can re-clear this, and then they've got a play post plant from nothing. So I don't think Foot really understand this protocol.
He just gets the info.
This guy. Okay, now okay. Finally,
Have a
we
lot
see
of
movement.
support, and the timing here for Safe is everything.
Luckily, like he's gonna be just in time. It feels
Fine
like
cracks, it could be
Stop.
Vitality's mid rounding.
down to
Just
how
I
much
don't get
can
that.
Zeus do. In fact, it's nothing. And the timing here for Safe is everything. If he can find cracks, it could be huge, but instead he's also just ducked back towards the site. And with this
Am I done with this VOD already?
the longer
Like I
Vitality
think if I wasn't
more
streaming, I'd be done with this
terrifying
VOD already.
this
Maybe.
position comes. Of course, that showstopper is still available for the entry.
They heard that gate crash. They know that he's potentially going to TP onto the site.
Like I think I get it.
Nice pick by Cracks. Clay pigeon shooting, finding
Yeah,
that.
I think I
The
get it.
TP very much expected, but less. Gets the element of surprise up top, pounces for a double, but that's all he'll get. Seavoff in a familiar position.
Also, the bot
This
didn't
spike
ping
now
your
planted
Discord
this
is live.
time, and players
Oh.
everywhere. Great adjustment by
We'll see.
Foot. You
We'll
gotta give it
we'll
to
check
Cracks.
that out at
was
some
a
point.
Nasty shot.
I think the weirder thing for Vitality is you've just come out of that Fracture game expecting your opponents to be ridiculously aggressive, and this has been the most patient and calm Foot I've ever seen in my life. Really slowly taking B main control, they're using paranoia, smokes, they're even keeping that control. Then you have the initial aggression that comes out from Zeus. He hears any sound, he's like, I don't fancy taking this fight, I will fade away. The guy that was running it down A main every round on the defensive side has gone, no, I will fall back to site and play nice and calm. And so it gets down to 20
Right, next round.
No.
Any questions? Thoughts on Durka crashing out? Crashing out. I don't think it was a crash out. I don't think he should have responded though.
I will fall back to site and play nice and calm. And so it gets down to 20-second mark there. Going will fall back to site and play nice and calm. And so it gets down to 20-second mark there. Going in blind, and now he's back and play nice and calm.
What is Kicks doing? He's trying to reveal, right?
No, I will fall back to site and play nice and calm. And so it gets down to 20-second mark there. Going in
He's
blind,
missed the
and now he's back
reveal,
to his old
and then it doesn't matter anyway because
calm. And so it gets down to 20 seconds.
like I know it's a low buy round, but look, just doesn't it look weird? Doesn't it just look weird? I don't know.
Mark there, going in blind, and now he's
Last run with the ult. Warren trade off, but the dancing in.
fine. The problem though is down.
And again, like look at Foot, man. They just got the. They're just drawing him back B main every single round.
You can see now Foot 2-2, man advantage and passive.
Wait, is someone hating? Mini, do you think G2 could be the best annoying team without Teo? I think if you think that G2 is only good because of Teo, you have also lost your mind. Like, I don't think like you do understand that the reason they're good at Teo is because they understand strategy and not because Teo. You know what I mean? Like they understand strategy and then they've only compounded that by adding Anders. Like if you think that it's because of Teo, then you don't understand Valorant high enough level. Or the people that you're watching, content creators you're watching, aren't good enough at explaining things. And I don't mean that in sorry, that comes across as like really mean. Like I don't mean that in like the meanest way, but like maybe I need to do a better job of like streaming more and showing why G2 are actually good because it's nothing to do with Teo. Yeah, I mean that's true too. They were good on maps without Teo. They just used they recognized what the best compositions and agents were and played them at the highest strategic level, and they will continue to do that with that tail. Rate my clip. What is this? It needs to be a frag clip. Oh, one sec. Oh, one sec. Why is the quality so bad?
Man, holy fuck.
Wait, why is it? Oh, okay.
Holy fuck.
Bro, why did it go so low? I can't see the shot, but that looked nice.
Last player standing. Spike down B. One enemy remaining.
Okay, okay.
Shut him down.
I'm not watching more. You can't give me a whole frag movie.
Man, holy fuck.
Okay, this shot, it's a Clove running away with his back to you. So, okay. This shot is the most impressive one. That's a 10 out of 10. The rest is nice, but watch. Solo.
Spike down B.
Solo.
One enemy remaining.
Solo. So, like, I think overall I gotta give it 7. And it mostly is off the back of that second kill. And the fact that it's like, you know, a lot of kills. That kill is sick. The rest of them are just like, you've been gifted it a little bit. I think you were gifted the other ones. Still nice aim though, but you were gifted it.
Up against these weaker weapons. The danger is Mr. Fallen. For a second there, they could have pushed up as a unit. 3 players blitzing into him.
The other thing I'll say about G2 is that they could go back and run like default comps and still be like, you think they've forgotten how to play default comps? Like, I think they'll cook some new meta stuff up, but yeah.
Slow them down. A little bit late to the party. Mr. Fallen's goal once again is just to try and slow them down as much as possible, but he's under some serious pressure. Smoke will be there to cover him and still just
This round, it was...
From the smoke, but going in blow and play that
and Smoke actually making same
Yeah.
have to go on so the backstab comes in.
I think that Vitality need to structure their early rounds in a much more deliberate way, I think.
And to complete that arc with Mr. Fallen. Beautiful play. And 3-2 as a result.
I might write this down.
The lead is now there, 4 foot. I don't know how Out of Captain wasn't actually caught by that Prowler. Angle slightly off.
Does Vit have a coaching or an IGL problem? It's really difficult to assess. Because one makes the other, if that makes sense. I think if I was trying to make it a bit more like, and I mean this with no disrespect to Safe, I know he's a smart person, but to expect a new IGL to call like someone like Boaster does doesn't make sense. Especially when that person is extremely talented at the game in a way that like genuinely, you know, Safe does have better mechanics than Boaster. So he could lean on that a bit more. I think that because they're trying to play too complicated at times, it's not helping anyone. So it's like, you could look at the coaching and be like, maybe they didn't like work around Safe as well as they could, but then Safe might want to play like this style. The other thing is, once they get to globals, can they go to grand finals playing simpler? I think they could. I would start with the simple shit and then add in the mid-roundy stuff after, but it seems like they've started with mid-roundy stuff and they don't know the simple stuff, if that makes sense. This is definitely the way Safe sees the game. Unfortunately, though, when you're a new IGL, you just have to know you're a new IGL. You can't do that. when I first started working with Boaster, we would run set strats.
Interesting.
And then once he was like, we were training him up and working together longer and longer, then we got more complicated.
From yesterday, that beat
Hey,
Foot,
Smwari.
the exact same composition. The thing is, I think Fnatic are always very good at those very late round
No, I'm not going to Toronto.
Whereas so far for Vitality, it has just been a complete failure in that regard. And although, sure, Foot haven't had a mass amount of time to adapt from yesterday, you've kind of given them...
Is there a reason they kept slow defaulting as a 4-5 man back? I don't mind them going for like simple defaults, like 4-1s on some maps. I think that defaulting like 4 over here or something and not having any info on B main is obviously a problem.
From the mistake.
Will I watch Party Toronto? I'm thinking about it right now. Because I have some things I need to do. I was thinking if I can watch Paper Rex, then I'll try and prioritize that. But otherwise, I might just do VOD reviews for Toronto. The last time I was doing co-streams, my numbers were terrible. And I think I'd get more numbers VOD reviewing. And it would mean that I would have time to do some of projects that I need to work on behind the scenes.
If I remember correctly, the Fnatic game, it was Foot struggling on the attack. I think 4 rounds in the first half.
Yes, some
So
things.
we'll see if they maybe need a really big margin coming out of this one.
Yes.
I don't know where the expectations are to be set, but again, with the learnings from the previous day, Vitality have their work cut out for them. Not just in that second half, but in this round as well. With Kicks and Durka could be struggling. You think
from yesterday that beat Foot, like using the exact same composition. The thing is, I think Fnatic are always very good at those very late round executions.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's dumb, but like not having anyone ever clear off this line for Vitality is a bit of a problem. I like how Foot are playing the Teo though. I thought when Teo first came out that it would be played up here, and then teams started playing it over here. But I guess this is the strength of this composition. The defense, I do like the defense ability with this composition. I think they do lack. I do prefer the breach here, instead of the fade. But I think on defense specifically, you can keep the info in here, and then you've always got that drone back B main. So at the start of this round, they've just even salvoed out. The other team needs to use util to get back in. This is like this is a really nice, almost like counter to Vitality's comp. Because how are they going to get back in here? They have to use fade prowlers, and that's not guaranteed at all. They have no like breach or Teo to force out the issue on this part of the map at all. So Foot are playing well against Vitality, and their comp makes sense against Vitality specifically in this moment. Thank you, whoever Zoltox. Thank you.
Angle slightly off, I suppose.
The interesting thing with this is that Vitality have basically, other than Astra for Omen, they've taken the Fnatic.
Would you say Boo is an underrated
yesterday that
IGL?
beat Foot, like using the exact same composition.
Slightly.
Because I think Fnatic are always
Slightly.
very good at those
I think that
very
in
late
conversations, people often say people like John QT, and I think that Boo absolutely has a claim to be potentially better than John. I think that what Heretics did last year was more impressive than what Sen did last year, even though Sen won Madrid.
executions.
I think consistently Heretics played better Valorant.
Complete failure in
It
that
really
regard.
depends on this year now,
Although
though.
Foot
Like,
have
Sen have
massive
already
gap
looked okay,
from
right?
yesterday, you've kind of given them an opportunity to learn from the mistakes.
Exactly. You think they've come in here with no idea what went wrong yesterday? It's going to be most of what they talked about. The reality is, we'll see that in the second half. If I remember correctly, the Fnatic game, it was Foot struggling on the attack. I think 4 rounds in the first half. So we'll see if they maybe need a really big margin coming out of this one. I don't know where the expectations are to be set, but again, with the learnings from the previous day,
I'll give Foot credit here.
Vitality have
Foot,
their work cut out for them. Not just in that second half, but in this round as well. With Kicks and Durka down, 3 players coming in through Heaven, but this super passive hold that Foot have shown in almost
I do
every
really
round
think this
towards
comp
this
struggles on
season
attack,
so far.
though. Like, if you look at it, like, how do you support this Yoru going in? Like, you can use Paranoia and then, like, Salvo, I guess? But it doesn't feel quite as nice as having the Breach. Like, I don't think this comp can really go for, like, those, like, straight execs anywhere near as easy as like some other comps can. Like I had some annoyances with this comp. I don't think it's bad, but I think this one really does struggle with that straight exec style. The counter to that though is that they have the Prowlers and drones to take a lot of control if they want to. But yeah, I wouldn't love to have a comp where like you needed to default out more. Besides Boaster, who would your dream IGL be to coach? Probably Valen. What about Yampi's IGLing? I haven't really studied BBL close enough, but I think that BBL have a much BBL have a very good structure to allow Yampi to cool, if that makes sense. I think that they put him in a very good position to cool. But I need to watch closer their games to see how it actually manifests. I don't think that. I think when I look at it's like when I look at safe, right? I'm like, we're saying like we need to build a system that works for safe side yelling. I think that BBL have done that. It's a little bit easier for BBL because they're not expected to go deep internationally. They're not expected necessarily to go to global events. So they can take a little bit of a comfort approach with things. Whereas Vitality, they might be feeling that they can't take comfort approaches easily because they need to hit a certain ceiling. They need to hit a ceiling, if that makes sense.
They are playing back, allowing Vitality to take the space, confident on their crunches after. With cracks down, there's still more players than they should expect. Zeus saves that. With cracks down, allowing Vitality to take the space.
Does Vitality need a roster change?
With cracks down, there's still more players than they should expect. Zeus
I don't know how you change that roster, honestly. I don't know what you do at Vitality. It's so hard on the outside looking in, like how you would change stuff, because you know you could go for those big changes if you wanted to, but how the fuck do you replace them? You know what I mean?
Durka has always made grand final.
There we go.
Always made.
Yasuche, how does Yasuche know? Oh, that's smart. Yasuche knows that it's low buy rounds. They know that Vitality like to buy a shotgun here. Like Yasuche's out.
Grand final of the regular season, looking to try and lead the charge with the Bucky. Fortunately, he's already been somewhat denied. Now Zeus
Don't want to ruin Mini's legacy. This is the thing. Why would my legacy be ruined coaching a team that was already failing? You know what I mean? If I did go ahead coach a team that was failing, and they continued to fail, aren't there other head coaches that have done that and their legacy's fine?
Every single round. I think Les managed to get quite a bit of ground in the last, so maybe just looking to try and remove him from position. But for who Zeus is, he has been incredibly tempered with his aggression. This timing.
What are Vitality doing?
With the Bucky.
So they inserted up here.
But for who Zeus is,
they're faking the map out as if it's. This is like watching 2020. I mean, they got no money. It's like watching 2021 Valorant, and I don't mean that in the bad way, but like
the screen unfortunately fading.
This is how like Na'Vi,
Again, you've got almost full
how FPX would play. Where it's almost like you're faking. You use the middle to like fake here and then go here, or you use it to fake here and like go here. But they're doing it on fucking ghosts and shotguns and shit. Like it's. I don't really. It's the most complicated fucking eco round I think I've ever seen.
Where is the opening for Vitality? Because they haven't found it yet.
Yeah, the This late stage play again, gate crash back to A site, but normally they haven't been keeping as aggressive control of Heaven. It could be their downfall.
Last minute
against
cramming
this
your
solo
homework.
play.
I mean, I could talk
The fact
nonsense
that
about
you
all
can't
these
get
teams
the
anyway, I
control
think,
to
so.
control the play up from
And I did
Heaven.
technically
They can put
probably
pressure on
watch them all from the
every
analyst
side.
desk, even though
Vitality try
watching
to
games on the analyst desk
try and fail.
is a very different experience to sitting at home watching VODs. I think I got a system though that I'm getting used to. Like I have a laptop that I rewatch rounds on whilst we're watching.
This is not the expectation of this composition already. Looking to pick up the pace a little bit, looking to try and catch them off guard. Pressure placed onto Krax. He's actually going to use the Nightfall just to try and get him out of guard. Pressure.
Bro, look at this though. Look at this. This is Foot doing their Foot things. On what planet should Krax be trying to hold, and on what planet should be Yasushi running in here? I guess strategically, I can't be annoyed by it, I guess, because the Viper ult, because obviously Vitality get this site and then Viper ult, wherever the fuck they Viper ult, then the retake's going to be impossible for Foot, so Foot might feel pressure to make plays. I don't think Foot have identified this as a win condition for Vitality. I think Foot just played like this, to be honest, though. I think Foot would have done this either way. They immediately ult, flood in with one extra person. Like, this is that whole, like, weak side, strong side shit that I was trying to do in the Telestrator, which I don't know if actually... I don't know if you guys picked up on it, but this is just Foot doing their thing. Two people this side of the map, they're still fucking trying to hold and flood in when they have no one nearby. And it's worked because Yetaje and Krax just get a bit lucky. But that ain't consistent, what they've just done.
And they needed safe. They needed that player to link up with. Instead, now they're in a position where you're pushing through a smoke, running into open territory.
We don't have a hydrate or posture check, but you'd redeem. I can't ever posture check because my chair is broken. It's like fully broken, so I can't ever have a good posture. I will drink some of my orange squash though. I'm gonna have to skip this VOD soon. What are we on? 2:30. Okay, now we got time to yap like this. Actually.
That's nasty. Could have given them something to play with. The reality is now ult stacked up on the other side too. Very impactful once Yetaje has the pin. Mr. Fallen. Armageddon online. Nice, for Vitality, will pray for something to go differently. This momentum carried through from that first map.
I tried to get business deals done with G2 Gozen again. Like, where I was staying in Berlin for broadcast work is literally down the road from Mimi. And, yeah. No business deals. Like, we were talking about something, and, yeah. Disappointed.
They win the anti-eco,
Disappointed.
But since then, it is a sea of cyan with 6-2 on the board. Foot. They're taking everything except for prisoners.
Blast. Oh, it did actually Duck has managed to correct his aim. It's a surprise he gets away with that.
Is RRQ versus XRG in the finals realistic? No. I don't even... I've not watched a single game of China, but I'm going to say no. The problem is I haven't watched back RRQ's games yet, even the one versus PaperX. But my feeling is that it's going to be very difficult for APAC to win, but my feeling is always that, and T1 went on a run. I don't think T1 should have won still, though. But and people would say, but they beat all the good teams. Yeah, they did. I don't think G2 had a particularly good finals. I really want to watch back that finals at some point on stream and show you how badly G2 fucked up. Because they did a monumental fuck up on Pro. They were so bad. It was hard. Like the last 3 rounds or 4 rounds or 5 rounds. It was like 5 rounds or something. Or it was just like, why?
We've really seen a proper battle.
Why? it wasn't choking. It was randomly rotating on defense in a way that they would never usually do, and just letting Leaf stay by himself. Thank you, Parrot.
Early pick was nice, but Durka going down. Viper's Pit locking off mid.
Now
This
they've got
is
B main
making
No,
a
it wasn't
serious
nerves.
problem.
I wouldn't say it was
Crux is
nerves.
just send the Prowler through on A. He sees
I don't know
nothing
what it
with
was.
and
I don't know. It was really
gets
fucking
booked.
dumb. That's what it was.
To 2 on the board. They're taking everything.
Jesus Christ,
except
these
for
notifications. Can I just get rid of them for now? I thought I had them off. Oh, I had the alert box off, but I don't have the noise off. How the fuck do I get rid of that noise? I don't know. Oh, please don't spam shit, please. Thank you for the cheers, but it's, you know,
It's a surprise he gets away with that one.
I could just delete it. How do I delete it?
To survive the second, and had a captain with an immediate trade. It's the first time we've really seen a proper battle. The second, and had a captain with an immediate trade. It's the first time we've really
Delete the alert box scene, and it deletes the sound. But okay, I don't really want to do that though. Yeah, we'll figure it out another time because I appreciate your help, but that noise is really annoying,
proper battle for B main.
and I've not sorted that out yet.
Viper's Pit. Spam almost gets rid of Yedeja. You could B main.
Reclearing B main again? Like, look, man, they've won the game because they've just recleared B main every single fucking time.
off mid. B side with the one extra man they have Mr. Fallen, but he's still in position. The hunt goes through. The information now there.
Why are they going heaven?
Never mind, Mr. Fallen leaving for
Why don't they just use their Fade ult right now? And then just Viper ult in post? Like, what's the...
the other side of the map. In fact, they're certain this will be an A play.
Why?
They couldn't be.
Huge error. Give the full game. No one shot the horn. They were too busy thinking about.
They really needed to use the Fade ult so
And now they've got to try and
min-max
run
like
it with
that?
sight. It's a bit of a whiff from Mr. Fallen, but the time is ticking
Oh
once
my
again. They
God,
managed to clear
what a
at least
shot.
one of them. That leaves it down to the remaining two. One of the best scenarios we've seen for Vitality so far. Mistakes were definitely made, but they could look to rectify. Patience stuff, the trade back. Talent. Even the first. The Viper's bit. Because why would
Yeah, there's a chance he would have.
So this is now, we don't know what to do anymore. Let's just fucking send it B, I guess. But what they should do, I hope, is get this orb for the raise.
The trigger for them.
Okay, they are
Big
getting
mistake,
orb.
a big cost paid, and the captain was blind, and he still tagged.
Oh
Durga.
no.
Now he's taking another. Fakes the TP out, and it almost worked. The picks go back the other way though for Vitality. A 3 versus 3 they've ended up in. The real
See, the problem is right now, because the 7-2 down, the confidence is low, I can see them losing this round. Even though they shouldn't.
Mr. Fallen wasn't sure if Safe actually stuck. The
Just
TP or
fucking
faked
ult.
it.
Why is Les not ulting?
Still available. It has been
Safe plants
for a while for
open.
less, and yeah, I think definitely a time to try and invest it. The battle of
That's a bad Teo drone, by the way. They should be Teo droning when they're ready to actually go do stuff with the ult.
incredibly important. It's such an unorthodox position, and Seaboff with another triple kill. We've seen so many in that first map. The
They needed the Teo drone to clear out the ult, is what I'm trying to say.
Through and clear him, and actually, Let's has gone down. He's been taken. Seaboff with
What?
another triple kill. We've seen so many in that first map. Yedeja.
I want to see Les's POV so badly in the replay here. I think it's because he doesn't realize, like, is it because he doesn't see where the other salvo is because it's outside of his ult?
Elbows.
But that's
He
ludicrous.
needs the ace. He needs to find it all for them to be able to win this already. Looking to try and tag. That'll be
My heart is carrying them kicking and screaming through this round, but just too much.
There's no
abs
confidence
out
at
of
all.
getting that double, phenomenal. But they recover from it. Not only finding the picks to level up the scoreboard in that sense.
Oh, it got the whole...
Finding the picks
Wait,
to level
what?
up the scoreboard in that sense.
It gets the whole of that? Is that... I guess it does. Bro, I'm not a pro player, but I think Les should know that, right? I think Les should know that. I didn't quite think about that in the moment. I was being dumb, but I think you should know that as a player. That you have to come out. Yeah. I don't know.
Only finding the picks to level up the scoreboard in that sense.
Oh, there was nowhere to go.
But then the pit going down, Safe not being able to take Yedege, who was
That's a
caught
shot.
looking the other way. Seevoff being left last alive 6 times and feeling those rounds. See Seevoff being
I don't like that.
last alive 6
It's a fucking 2v1. You're not winning that.
times.
If he's feeling that stress, sorry for him.
And feeling those rounds slip out of his grasp, feeling the gap.
Like, I know it's a big, I know it's like they're fucked, but
The kickoff fall off. I think it was what, KC? But don't get me wrong, like Kicks and Seevoff are no slouches. It's just the other 3 have quite a lot of caliber to their name.
I don't think I could put him sat next to Durka. I think I would move their position. If he was reacting like that a lot, I wouldn't put him next to Durka. I don't think Durka would like that.
Back to his old tricks. Paranoia even sent through. They're just trying to get rid of Les.
It seems to be the case that every time they've had that opening, it's traded back almost immediately.
Oh, don't you dare.
Yeah, you can choose wherever you want to sit.
Destroying the gate crash as well. Less pressure put into the backside. Here comes the showstopper. Weaker weapons.
They need to know in advance, though. You can't just turn up and sit where you want.
Mr. Fallen down and out.
Because they need to make sure all the graphics and stuff and the PCs are all set up properly.
This was a 5v3.
Bang sits in the middle because they wanted to have, I think, John and Zelsis here so that the fucking melters on the team don't sit next to each other. And so they're, you know, there's always someone with emotional maturity sat between them. If you know what I mean.
So Mr. You've got to back off on that one. Destroying the gate crash as well. Less pressure put into the backside. Here comes the showstopper. Weaker weapons in play, certainly on
Yeah,
Safe.
they lose this round. So they surely don't lose this round.
Down and out. And this is the best chance they've had so far. 5v4 conversion is high. This was a 5v3.
There's like
But we're back to equal footing.
good teams who lose these rounds, you know, they just got like 0 aura. You know what I mean?
But he's dropped by Zeus.
They've just lost all their aura.
Sure put on as the flankers down.
You can't lose rounds like that. There's not even anything necessarily blunderingly bad about some of these rounds that they lose like this. But nothing's good, if you know what I mean? Like, why is no one doing anything good? I mean, Derek is playing a solo position.
And this is the best chance they've had.
There's no crossfires at all. They're trying to prioritize open plant again.
So far, 5v4 trying to pull it back, but he's dropped by Zeus. And again,
I mean, Zeus has fucking owned it with that as well. Like, Zeus turning around there is unbelievable.
This looked like a shoo-in, a 3rd round at last. But instead, it's another clutch for Vitality. Not Seevoff this time, but still an Empire.
Right in this go. Spin echo all the way back to the coaches because the fact is the call was right, the play was right, the decision was right.
Everything was perfect.
They still don't manage to win the round. Multiple retakes that should have gone in their favor.
That's disgusting.
Confidence has only been growing. They started so passive, but they're getting more and more aggressive as time goes by because I'm not gonna lie, Vitality look dead.
They do, dead in the water. And teams might have even said the best, but certainly way above the average when it comes to 5v4 conversions and a 5v3 loss. Recovering here with a 3rd round would be nice.
No.
The captain stayed in the corner.
They lose this as well.
He's done stuff like this so many times as well, just with these bait TPs. Krax is already into support though, hiding within them. They don't expect him. I think he even got tagged by a vulnerable.
Foot are a team that like fundamental check you. Like if you don't have your fundamentals, they will check you. You know what I mean? Like all this dumb shit, like where Atlas just stood here, like pretended to TP away, someone stood in a smoke. Like if you don't have your fundamentals, you should lose because Foot will just kill you. But if you have fundamentals, you don't lose these rounds at all. But look, like what is going on? Why is Kicks running through a smoke by himself?
Within, and they don't expect him. I think he even got tagged by a vulnerable from Yedeje from above, and a captain is still somehow here eventually.
Okay. 2v1. Did they lose this as well?
His weakness in this map has been running out of bullets. But I'm seeing a clutch scenario. I'm seeing Foot with what is now a 9.
The middle thing's how I explained it. It's because bang narrate, and then who's the fifth player? I forgot. Where's my brain gone? Second. They're all the young kids. You put the young kids. Don't put young kids next to each other who are gonna flop, basically.
Does it finally end?
I'm not saying that they're like mentally weak or anything, but clearly they've identified that like having the younger players sat next to each other just doesn't work, and they influence each other like poorly. So having John and Zeus able to break them up a little bit probably helps. Okay, 9-3. Okay.
Penalty, a 3-7 attack and a 1-11 attack for the side of Foot. So they definitely do struggle. And also the fact that
Why are they playing Viper?
we've seen it this year, a 4-8.
What reason do you have to play Viper B and not Viper and Omen A? I'm really confused. I don't think this is a big deal, but like, wouldn't you rather your paranoia come in here and then you could spit this? Or even just, I don't know. I don't really understand.
Attack, a 3-7 attack and a 1-11 attack for the side of Foot. So they definitely do struggle. And also the fact
I don't really understand why this is B.
would be the first, maybe when they need
Is it because of that orb? Please,
1-11 for the side of Foot.
it's because of that orb. So there's this like meta in EMEA where I think I talked about it on the TriCast a little bit, where like a team was like smoking like this, and then to get people out, just giving the attack like the free space here. So they've decided to orbit so that they can get out easier. But then you don't get, yeah, because it disincentivizes the attack from obviously pushing this way. Don't know if I love it, but I have to think about it more.
And also the fact that they're yet to win this map this year. This would be the first, maybe when they need it most. An aggressive start into the round, but it is Durka to start. We're back in a 5v4.
Pistol essential here for Vitality.
Okay, you get to flood in and you get to fight them.
Steps up to the plate for more. Cracks isolated in the open to finish out the round.
I think this a comp dependent thing, maybe.
Still so much more to do.
We'll see if they do that again, or if it's something they do with smokes or something. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm super locked in today. I think working on the broadcast has helped me understand how to talk about things a bit better. I'm still doing it in a way that is too heavy for broadcast, I think, at times. And I'm not really caring about the way I'm delivering this information. But I think that is mostly why, and maybe because I got the pressure of going on plat chat and having to yap about stuff that maybe I'm locked in a bit more.
Nice conversion, nice pick on out of captain lurking out on B. The opening pitch in favor of shots positive.
Okay. I should have watched that round, but I can't be bothered.
Leaks. Sorry, FNS. Already. Sorry, FNS.
It was almost nice.
Already.
I really hate teams, man. How difficult is it to just bait this orb so it goes up and then send the salvos in afterwards so that you can actually use the salvos? It really annoys me. Because now they can't use the salvos because this orb is up. They're not going to run through this orb. So, you know.
Fading away from it. Invested quite heavily into the rifles in the last round, so this buy definitely has some bite.
Like, they can run through the fucking smoke. So if they salvo now, they could go through the smoke. And use the salvos to take the space.
Now, put themselves.
Thank you, Kim.
At the guns.
The reason you can't go through that, like, is because the Viper Orb does damage to you, right? So you don't want to run through a fucking orb that does damage to you, and then on the other side there's some cheeky cunt just sat here shooting you because you're half HP to a Viper Orb, you know?
And Zeus already just a few away from having that dimensional drift, and Durka, he's looking to try and catch a time and has to be careful of the flash.
Retaking A or is easier, or B in your opinion? Retaking A is I don't know what it's like anymore, but from my understanding, A is way easier. Cupid, this is, yeah. It really hurts watching some maps sometimes and seeing that like people can't play around very basic things, especially when I'm working like the desk and stuff, and I'm sat there watching a map being lost because teams don't know how to go for a fucking Viper Orb, and I'm like, well, like, we can have a discussion about stats and players if we want to, but at the end of the day, they've literally not been able to do the most basic protocol on the map. Like,
This round is already in turmoil.
Save goes down, not an easy position to connect from. Marshall in the open on A, mid-road.
but I think I got ways to explain that stuff now. I think we did one thing last time I was on desk where we actually went through some of the rounds, and I think that I'll do that a little bit more maybe, where we like bring up some B-roll and kind of I would just yap and insult teams.
You have done that about 6 times in this
Every
game.
time I
Just teleport into the same position and go, there's no way anybody's going to expect that.
Yeah, well, he can't keep
Yeah.
getting away with this.
If at first you don't succeed, have you to back that's still
Server 10 to 9, perhaps, but
Sorry, I've zoned out a little bit.
all
Right.
5 players
Euro ult
get the
A.
inside.
So how have I retaliate?
It will be the old sent through to find the info. One spotted.
I
What's
mean-
Zeus's idea? Salvos.
I mean, Kicks is trying to ult. I don't.
In play.
To give Foot credit, when Foot do their stupid sight hold stuff, at least they're ready to flood on each other. Like, Kicks is trying to do it, but like he doesn't realize that his teammate isn't near him to do anything. Like, there isn't an immediate spit coming in and someone flooding in. It's just Kicks by himself trying to hold the site.
Decoy sent.
So like, what is that? What is he doing? Like, what is this?
Idea.
Like, I don't know. Is this Kicks' fault? I think most people would blame Kicks here, but like, I'm hesitant to blame Kicks for this.
Salvos in play. Decoy sent.
I mean, the ult does go deep, to be fair.
And a great flash. That is
I don't get
beautiful
it.
from out of captain. The power
Thank you
play
very
on
much.
and with it, the opening pick.
Uh,
A site falling. Durka, the last bastion of defense.
Wait, is that Umut?
Trying to sneak forward and get some space. In fact,
I think
he's
it was
not
up.
cleared his corner.
Yeah, why would he
Wanted
do
to
that?
delay. Wanted to delay. The problem with the way that I speak is that I clearly don't explain stuff well enough. Because how on earth is this delaying?
Through to find the info. One spotted. What's Zeus's idea?
Like, what?
Salvo's in
It's not. He's just dying.
play. Decoy sent and a great flash.
Like, where's the delay?
Beautiful
There's no
round.
delay. No, they haven't stopped.
The paranoia lands.
Hey, Emma.
With it, the opening pick and the A site falling. Durka, the last bastion of
Spike
defense,
planted.
trying to sneak forward and get some space. In fact,
Crazy
he's
knowledge.
not cleared his corner.
But also got door there.
Was Lidport is a foot. Operator still in play.
I think I got a narrative about Vitality as well, actually. I think I got one. Let me... Oh, this is going to be a juicy fucking plot chat. I might go fucking in. Like, I'm not a coach anymore, so I have no reason to be nice anymore. Like, I used to be nice on these podcasts because I didn't want any drama whatsoever. But now who fucking cares? Like, what are they going to say? Like, they can't beat me anymore. Like, because I'm not in the game. And then I just say how many trophies you got. Like, they can't win. As long as I don't flame Chronicle, I think I win.
Rifles across the board. If you lose this one, your chances of pushing to OT, not just with the amount of rounds you need, but where your economy is going to be at. Let's just say, Vitality fans, you better hope this turns into a...
Although Chronicle's take about having no refresh util in the game is a terrible take. But he could just say, I've won 3 trophies, and then I'm like, fair enough. You did win 3 trophies. You won 3 trophies, so...
The upper bracket matchup between Foot and Vitality.
But it's a very bad take.
Favor to send them into the lower bracket is looking like a completely different story this time around, but Durka is there to find the start. He's definitely
Parker technically flame me. Yeah.
in this map, at least.
If
Looking better on the raise, but what it's done
yeah.
to the rest might not have been worth it.
Nah.
Corpse plant once again. All they have to do is
Pansy does it best though.
Durka, nice blast pack. They still win the duels, though.
needed for like to survive in stage 1.
What is it I was looking at? Is this... Okay. This is what I was looking at. I want to see from January. Jesus. I was just looking at the defense sides. I know that Abyss, Lotus, and Icebox are kind of shit on defense. But this is very bad. Because part of my argument, I think, is that where the fuck are the defense sides for this team? Like, look. When you go through here... God, I wish I was on Dust this week. I had a field day with these teams. 1 out of 5. Like, how many defenses they won? They won 1 against Fnatic. And do you really count this? Honest defense halves. Yeah. Yinsu Yinsu farmed us. Slicky was talking about Artis being a good change for this team. I don't think in the long run, to be honest, but I need to watch back that Icebox, to be honest. Yeah, so they've out of like all of their defense halves, they've had an honest win on against Apex. Do you count that? Like, isn't it? It's like they lost 3-9 on defense against Apex. Like that doesn't balance it out. You know what I mean? Winning 11-1. You still lost 3-9 to them. It's Apex. So I don't know. I had to, yeah. Something's going wrong. Hey, Maury. So to me, when people talk about safe, I think that there are definitely issues with the attack side, but defense side is not where the IGL is at their peak power. Like, historically, I don't think Boasters had a ton of, like, impact on the defense side in the way he has on attack for, like, his cooling. So, like, I think you can give him a little bit of a break on that respect. And then you have to look at the structure of the team a little bit. But then the IGL is important for the structure of the team. So it's then, once again, how does that actually play out? How does their defense structure actually, how do they actually do these rounds? Like, how do they actually structure their playbook on defense? Because it's clearly not working on defense. You can't be losing to fucking mid-tier teams on your defense. Like... Yeah, I don't know. Fucking last round.
Originally watching, and there's players here. Yetajay's gonna peek, but the operator in hand, flash used.
Why is he jumping?
Here. Yetajay's gonna peek, but the shot isn't landed. This was a big opportunity. The man advantage potentially, but now Seevov is isolated. And Safe stuck up close.
I guess it's 12-5. They ain't winning. Like, they know they've lost, right? So.
They might not expect him to still be so close, and he'll get his...
Right. Okay, so what else do I need to watch? Why are some EMA teams Vandal paired when it's objectively the worst rifle? Why are so many... Okay, so the way I'd almost like frame that back to you is like, why are so many EMEA teams playing KO on Icebox when it's objectively one of the worst agents? And to me, that's more egregious because coaches are not supposed to be emotional in the same way that players are. Whereas like players like get that choice a little bit more with the guns, if you know what I mean. I feel like coaches are going to be able to convince players about agents stuff a lot more. Bacon, KO is dog shit. It is dog shit. After the buff, still dog shit. It's still losing. It's not upticked in its win rate. It can now play backside on A like a bit more. It can sit here and you can right click flash and you can take a fight. Nothing else on the map is relevant, I don't think. I think that like if you're gonna knife start a round to get like denied drone, but teams don't do that. Teams don't do that. They just fucking throw the knife for info like idiots. They don't actually knife to deny drones like real humans do. They just play like a fucking bot. I remember we had protocols in like 2021 or 2022, no, 2021 to deal with KO knives. And somehow KO knife usage has regressed, I think, since then. I think there's so much about the game that's regressed and people don't realize. Ult usage has regressed in the past 2 years, I think. At least it's not improved. Like, there's like 4 teams in the world that actually use their ults properly. Maybe there was 4 when I was coaching too, I don't know. People, like, I don't know why Lil Bro, like, I hate this Lil Bro character, this fucking asshole. But at least he's good on this map. He's pretty good on this map. I don't see how you can compare these two on this map and think that the KO is better. I think this guy is so much better. I think Gecko is so much better on this map. It's unbelievable. The flashes are so much better for this map. Little bro is little broing on this map. Little bro, like I fucking hate him, but he's just he is actually broing here, isn't he? He's broing. KO ult's annoying. I'll give the KO ult to KO. The KO ult's kind of pretty good, isn't it? Hello. Hello, pal. What I don't like about Little Bro is that people, like, we all know he was a money grab, right? We all know this was a business decision. We know that rioters were sat in that room trying to come up with the cutest little thing. They're like, yeah, let's try and make this thing. Let's try and get these dweebs to buy some fucking little mascot thing. And they came up with Little Bro. They came up with Little Bro. This piece of shit. Man. I swear to God, I get fired in my fucking old design job if I design this and was like, this is gonna send, this is the thing that's gonna make us the fucking, you know, the plushy money. It's so bad that the most iconic thing they sell for Gecko is his mosh pit squishy toy. Did it work? I don't think it works. I think if you think it works, it means that you don't see the opportunity cost. The first cute thing they did in Valorant should have been a global phenomenon. Not just the, yeah, we sold some plushies. It should have been, my God, everyone wants the plushie. Like, everyone wants it. Like, people want the mosh pit stress ball more than they want a wingman plushie. Baby Yoda is cute. Baby Yoda is cute. As a result, you'd have more money for your broadcast. I know how budgets work, and I don't think that's how it works. I don't know. I'm not convinced that if Wingman was sold more, that Kim would be able to get better stats for the broadcast or something, or get to have 10 stats producers instead of just Captain Cow having to do everything. Right, anyway, next VOD. Who the fuck we watching now? Vitality Foot done. Casey Navi. I probably should watch BBR a little bit more. If I'm unable to answer questions about Yampi's cooling, that's not great, but I'll just pretend. Not watching Icebox. Refuse to watch Icebox. Split. I really wish I don't have to watch these two teams play. I really don't like watching them play. Okay. Okay, right. Just get psyched up. I can skip ahead. If I don't like what I'm saying, I can skip ahead. It's all good. It's all good. Okay, right. So, Na'Vi play double controller no Viper with a Vice. So the narrative going into this should be they're gonna suck at attack because they have no ability to actually explode onto any of the sides. They can default a little bit, but not amazingly, I'd say. Like, they can default, I guess, with the fade. They can use Astra pullbacks. So, I mean, they can go and play around the map and kind of manipulate rotations a little bit and stuff. But they never have the threat on A. They never have any threat on A with the Cypher Cage or the Viper Wall. They only have Dissipates, which I think are nowhere near as good as Cages or Viper Walls, in my opinion. The only advantage is you could like dissipate here whilst you're doing a fast strat, but this comp can't do any fast strats, so who cares? Let me think. So when you get to defense, you're looking a little bit nicer, but they don't have the ability to to Viper Orb check people at middle. Like they can't just throw. They don't have a Viper Orb at middle. It's just instant win some games because people are terrible at going through the Viper Orb. So they don't have that win condition. They do have the win condition of teams have never seen this comp before, and they might just completely freak out on you and not know what to do. So that's an advantage, I guess.
But they're gonna need
Did
one
you
of
see the end of it? Angel said for some reason Astra Omen was better than Astra. Yeah, I think he's lost his mind. I said it earlier. I think that Viper is considerably better than Astra. I think this map, Astra, is very strong, though. I think out of all the maps right now to play Astra on in this meta, where Teo is really strong, I think this map
start off
is the one where Astra
outside of A.
is
Sadak, the sole guard.
just clearly better than Omen, I think.
Yeah, not finding much from that. KC holding on towards mid, and with all that utility
I think I remember what I wanted to talk about in this VOD already.
from that.
Didn't I watch this?
Holding on towards mid, and with all
Wasn't
that
I on the
utility,
desk for this?
Sadak is
This was
trying
the
to
game where they
take
went A all the
second,
time.
Navi have at least got they're gonna place
I
it.
think I've done my homework already, right?
What? That's great way last.
My narrative was that they just abused A, and like Casey, so Casey's comp, like, I think what I was arguing with this game was that if you look at this composition, it shouldn't be able to exec A and win, really. But because KC kept playing for retake, Na'Vi got onto sites and won. And so what should have happened is that KC should have done this. I really wish that we had some Valoplant tool for the desk, because I would love to have done a segment where I just literally brought up Valoplant and just explained what they should have done instead. What they should have done is start at the Euro A, basically, with 2 other people, and then set the Viper, or so play Viper up here instead of starting over here. Start up here, so he's ready to spit in case there's a fast B. We have the TP ready from the A side to the B side, so if it is a fast B, we delay, and Yoru can help quickly. We stick our Omen here. He can look to get value at the start of the round, trying to see what's going on, and then just fall back. And then we have Fade and Raise. We get where the fuck is the pen tool? We get a deep line quickly with the Prowler to make sure that we can just fight them here at the start of the round. If there's nothing here, we got 2 choices. We can have the Raise rotate over to Vents and have the Fade rotate over, and then let the Yoru stay and reset the TP onto A. And so we can shut down middle again, and then the Fade can just work out where she wants to go. Or you can just leave the Raise on top of here, TP back, and just play like that. But I think it's better to just leave the Euro at this point, rotate to Vents, have the Fade come round, and then can decide whether to go this way or this way. Or just stay, nearby. But what KC were doing instead was having TP ready to here. And then playing a bit more like this kind of vibe quite a lot. Where it's like, okay, Yoru TP's here, but they're already out with Raise, and now they've playing for retake, right? And so this technically bad exec comp that Na'Vi are running wasn't punished by KC. So yeah, that's what I would have done. Does that make sense, what I just explained? I hope it does.
much from that. KC holding on towards mid, and with all that utility, Sadak is trying to stick around.
TLDR, fight them. Fucking fight these people, because they got no Breach or Teo to like force any, you know what I mean? They got Fade Prowlers. How the fuck else are they gonna win those fights, you know? And then this comp isn't exactly the best defense comp in the world, so if you've got a win condition like that, you take it every day of the week. Okay, so KC versus Na'Vi. That was my note for split. So, because what I saw after, right? So what KC were doing, it almost looked like KC were playing against a composition that had good execs. So if we look here, they like I'm using the pistol round as an example is usually not a great way to do it because pistols are different. Like they might not play the same style as in other rounds, but their pistol style is kind of like a good example of what they were doing in later rounds too. So I'll use the pistol round as an example because I remember how they retook. So we see they give up the site, and then their protocol was to fast re-clear the ramp, if I remember correctly. Yeah, come on. Yeah, see? So their retake protocol was to, use the ramp, which is good. This is like good Valorant, but it does not identify the weakness of Na'Vi's comp. It looks like KC went into this game without a specific game plan against this composition. If this was going to be their, the way that they played the A side of the map. Like this is normally like kind of good stuff to do to retake through the ramp and use the ramp as an area. But again, against this comp, it doesn't like deal with the weakness of that comp. Do you think a team with the double bull smoke comps instead of Viper, like Navi's here, should do the steel smoke more often on attack A main? What's the steel smoke? The full, is it like a full smoke here? That sounds like a pretty good idea to me. Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good idea. I don't mind that idea. What's your advice for figuring out what a comp is good or bad at? That's really tough. That's really tough. I mean, on this example, it should be pretty simple, right? 2 duelists. 2 smokes and a sentinel. It should be kind of obvious, just pointing out these agents, what is the strengths and weaknesses overall, if that makes sense. They're like very big overview things that you could talk about with comps when it comes to like these things where like you're just like looking at it on paper where you don't even consider the map at all. You're just like looking at these comps and you can kind of look and be like, this is this comp and it will do well at this, and this is this comp that won't do so well at this. But over time, you just know how the meta plays, and then also like how these agents interact on the maps, if that makes sense, and what weaknesses. Like when there's no Viper on this map, you know that mid is usually a little bit weaker because there's no orb at middle. And so you have to like, I just have a library of things in my head that I know on maps that I like to do, and I know what the meta likes to do, and how those things interact with each other when you change the agents, if you know what I mean. If you were a Fnatic head coach right now, which coaching staff would you prefer to have if you were given the 100% chance to help Fnatic win 100%?
It's going to be
Uh,
now start to get things underway. On towards the A site you look.
What do you mean? Out of like any coaches I could work with in the world? Are you asking me?
Catch out a late lock, but Na'Vi are stopping KC and there's tracks. And we'll find that pistol round. Another attacking pistol round won by Na'Vi. Now looking back.
I mean, I could be quite honest about
out of 4 for the last attacking pistol.
I mean, I didn't ever have SLK with me. SLK used to work from home. I when I stepped down from Fnatic, I did have conversations with one team, and my suggestion was that I would come with Anders.
as strong. Similar thing here, but it's A. And I love the plants.
So
I love the awareness to be
I like what Anders
for elite
brings
in that
for
window.
me. The weird thing is, I think that I'm still strategically.
Iconic fight.
I think that I'm strategically better than like most, if not like. I think I can like. I don't know who would be better than me strategically, but I know Anders has strategy stuff that he's better than me at, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I think we work well in that respect.
Once again, 3 rifles there, not much to work with.
I know that Anders has a bunch of disciples that probably know
Find a way to
the ways he thinks about certain things and would probably be useful too.
There's 4 players, 5 players in elbow.
And probably very smart, I guess is what I mean.
In a hole.
But ultimately, I think that's a lot of just Anders, you know.
Oh, what are they?
Like, right now, I should probably be in Anders' Discord and stuff to make sure that, like, I kind of know where his head's at with certain things, because it makes me like, he does make me think about the game and push my knowledge. But I like to keep, I want to keep away a little bit so that I don't just become clouded by just what Anders thinks is good, you know what I mean? Like, I like to have my own, like, I think, unfortunately, or fortunately, we agree about a lot of stuff. But yeah. He doesn't reveal his secrets, no, but that's true. You said you might not team. Many teams that use their ults good. What makes you decide if it's good or bad? Okay, so the first thing you do going into a round is you look at the ults that are on the table. Let's say that this ult's on the table, and then ask yourself the question when the round is finished: did this ult get used? That's step 1. Did they use their ult? A lot of the time, the answer is fucking no right now. The second thing is did they plan to use their ult in a way that made sense? The answer is often no, especially on defense. The third question is, did they see the opponent have an ult and play a setup or idea that would have worked around that ult? The answer is usually no. And then the last most complicated question, which I probably had the most amount of fucking like troubles figuring out, is when there are multiple ults on the table at once, how do they interact against each other? Is it better to use your Killjoy ult in the retake, or is it better to use your Killjoy ult early? Is it better to use your KO ult for the exec, or to you save it for the post plant when you have a Raze ult? And so, like, how do those things interact with each other? And then, like, on the opponent's side, if they have their Killjoy ult to retake, and you've got 2 ults, like, is it better for you to use, which one's it better for you to ult in with, and which one's it better to try and break the ult? Or is it better to let that ult, kind of, the Killjoy ult to play out, and then you use the ult after the Killjoy ult's dissipated? Like, those questions don't get asked by teams, I don't think. I don't think teams structure themselves in a way that they can answer those questions. I think that it's too complicated for them, but I think it's possible. Where would I put Kayak as a rookie? I mean, Sociable is technically a rookie. I mean, he's looking like the best rookie statistically, but he is playing Duelist, and he is on a team that's slightly better than BBL, in my opinion. So I think Sociable, but then do you call Sociable a rookie when he's 29? I think you do, but you know, it is his first year in tier 1. Why do you think so many teams have poor ult and econ understanding? because they do not know how to play structured Valorant and do not have the processes in place to structure Valorant in a way that actually makes sense.
Reaching international events.
They don't do protocols properly. They don't do map theory properly, which means that things that you're saying, like they're playing in B Heaven against Teo and Brimalt, they don't realize that playing in Heaven's generally bad, and they especially don't realize that playing against Heaven against ults is bad.
Elimination game important to just show that they can endure trials.
Like a lot of teams just play off of intuition of players, I guess, is how I describe it. Right, anyway, so yeah, so I think I've got the general thoughts about this half of the map anyway, because I remember watching it on broadcast. But let's flip the switch. I go to the other half.
Just playing the default, looking for a pick off.
Pardon me. Vice wall mid, Flash. So I think like this setup right here is very like Thorns suck, Flash suck, Extremity. So there's a 2-1-2. I wonder what they would do if they lost mid control in this round, and what setups they do apart from this.
Just have to focus on things round by round, and then a wall on mid. They've got a Vice wall to try and fight through.
Oh, that's kind of sick. What the fuck? Is that a right click? It is a right click. That's not. That's not allowed, is it? You're telling me that the right click should. That's not. That's a right click from about fucking 2 miles away.
Game by game, his Vice looks to get better and better.
Mine doesn't do that when I'm next to someone.
He's exploring an avenue in which you don't necessarily want to be in, and he's being hunted down at the same time. There's a double tether there though, so has bought himself a little bit of space. Still no support. Angel.
What is Angel doing?
His Vice looks to get better and better. Angel. He's exploring an avenue in which you don't necessarily want to be in, and he's being hunted down at the same time. There's a double tether there though, so has bought himself a little bit of space. Still no support low to follow this up. Yeah, and if they try and execute in towards A,
Oh my
that
god.
as you've just heard, there's a double tether. Good for the first.
Why are they pathing this way and not just going at Heaven? What the fuck is this wall? Viper wall. I'm going to keep note of this. Okay, they go back to Heaven eventually.
The curtain put up in their face, and the plant coming in open, even without that extra control.
Oh, it's not bad for the post plant.
Off one another, but that's a big kill from Shou. It brings it back even. The last two remaining
It's not
players
great
on KC
though.
are low. And out in the open,
Yeah, I don't.
felt like a sitting duck, but that's a big
Sorry,
control.
I'm really trying to see
Back
where
even,
this wall
Martin
goes.
felt like remaining players on KC are low.
Does it have a? It lets you walk through and drop down. I think, yeah, I don't know how to feel about this.
The glimpse is a bit shaky at
Okay,
points.
it's just pistol. Okay.
Go no
There's a
further.
gut to drop hell. Yeah, I think that's
The
bad
point
though, isn't
being
it?
is,
Isn't
as
that
this
bad?
moves forwards, you're looking at it being double
Shouldn't
dive, right?
you
Something which,
don't
again, Selec
want
has
that?
shown affiliation towards typically the Jet, but Martine's your
Boring. Anti-eco. Boring alert.
halfway towards Shell's cosmic
KC have the highest bonus round win rate of any playoffs team. 55%. The EMEA stage 1 average is 44%. I like the context.
the highest win
The only
rate
thing,
elsewhere.
yeah, I think there's times where I wonder if it's shouldn't have this, and then there's times where it should have this. Because it does get a bit wordy, but then there isn't any context to know if it's good or not sometimes. But you should intuitively think that this is good. I'm all for cutting down things as much as possible.
Quite a few regen shields, in fact, 4 of them.
Attack side Viper or mid,
Big fans of the new kit.
Fnatic style.
AC slow on that.
Fnatic started doing this year a bit more.
Necessary steps, the Horn clears vents, but Ruxic is here. And with his
I think
right
Team
foot in hand,
Liquid
that's Martin gone.
in
No trade.
2022
Yeah, still support as well through Koala. No, the utility combo looked
did it
good, but
with Cupid.
Miss Nade. Yeah, exactly. It just doesn't get the nade just doesn't look good, but Miss Nade. Yeah, exactly. It just doesn't get the combo.
What the fuck is Martin doing? What?
AC slow on their mid approach, but taking the necessary steps. The Horn clears vents, but Ruxic is here, and with his rifle in hand, that's Martin gone. No trade.
This is my rifle. This is my gun. This is for shooting. This is for fun.
Combo looked good, but Miss Nade. Yeah,
I was watching Full Metal Jacket yesterday.
doesn't hit as well as what it should.
And so for these early investments, will
I'm
KC
worried that
make
Casey are just going to try and default middle with this comp every round when they should be prodding and not committing to vents as much as what he just did. What on earth?
KC made towards mid. They haven't really held on to the space. It's only Aves deposited here. Can't quite track
What?
Ruxic. Because you saw Sugetsu find that kill on B and send it back site, but to hero he goes. And to the spectator screen now.
People in Sideshow's chat were complaining. Yeah, but the problem is Sideshow chat isn't exactly the most... they're not the average viewer, firstly. And then secondly, that statistic almost speaks for itself. I think there are statistics where if you use something like something that's not intuitively understandable, then you need context. I don't necessarily think you need context for ones like that.
Yeah, that could be the deadly blow on the round. 15 seconds, plenty of space to get that.
What I would say is it would be so good if you could actually like decide where the lines of the text were, so you could, I don't know, so words can drop down and so the lines could look nicer. But we talked about that before. I don't think you could do it.
Short of the mark. It's just to help cross.
Idea of trying to get an insert in the mid corner, especially Euro, isn't bad, but need more util. Can you just smoke main? And what I'm trying to explain is that with this comp specifically, we got the Viper here, we got the Omen here, then we got our 3 at middle with the Fade able to pressure middle. But we don't ever need to fully commit to middle because we do have the double duelist to send XX on the extremities if we want to. So if we're feeling like there's too much pressure at middle for us to handle, we can just continue to pressure middle, keep them smoking this, keep this smoked, like make them keep smoking it, and they don't know what's actually happening because we could still be trying to go through this and they don't know. So they'll keep 2 people here, and in the meantime, we can choose to go on the extremities and burst them. It's like that's the strength of this comp in particular, is that you're kind of able to figure out if they are going to be hard holding middle the entire time with the Fade. And then if it is too much of a pain in the ass, then we got the double duelist to go back into extremities. In that instance, it looked like my team was far too desperate to get to vents, because look at where his teammates are. They're not using util to, in the moment he's taking contact at vents, there should be util happening. And there's no one with him. Like, and then you don't want to insert mail room. You want to insert vents, because inserting mail room is not safe. If you know what I mean. You can always just be repushed. Whereas inserting here, it's hard to be pushed. They have to go past middle and then they'd have to jump down a vent. So it's kind of your favorite.
That utility combo looked good. It was really because he goes just looking at Aves and
It's also hard to get. It's also hard to use prowlers or even like boombots or drones or like tail drones to get info back through this way, and so it's easier to do it this way. And if they immediately catch you here, like you can just be double peeked from Melroom basically.
calling.
So yeah.
They will go into vents. Hero just about in position to catch on to this, but does he expect Aves?
I mean, I didn't hate Martin's fight there, to be honest. I didn't hate it. Like, he is a duelist with lots of, he's a very good duelist, so like, yeah, I didn't understand this though.
Can't quite track Rooksy. He got ambitious plays coming to the spectator screen now.
I didn't realize it was Angel, but I was about to ask, what the fuck is this Fade doing?
To Hero he goes, and to the spectator screen
He has no, like, Angel has no clue what he's doing in terms of like his micro here. He like, I'm not gonna lie, this is worse than how I play this. I don't know how to explain it, but like, you hold like here. If he wants to figure out if someone's past him, he needs to be much more decisive than like doing what he's doing. He's like aiming in the middle of nothing, and he's like moving like a noob. I'm usually not hot on micro stuff. I don't really care as much, but I thought I'd explain it because I immediately noticed something was wrong. And the something wrong was Angel. Can Teodoro not make the jump from the boxes into vent? Maybe? But even if it could, like, you can't really play off of it, you know? You can't really play off of it. I don't think... I'm not sure, actually. I think I tried it and I was surprised that I thought it did. But I think I'm wrong. I think it doesn't.
It's a little short of the mark. It's just to help cross into sight, and always the possibility of a player swinging back from outside it. Na'Vi are slow in their movement to the side. But look at the crossfire. You can't really swing out into this. Someone's going to have to soon, though. Surely not another full stick. Satchel coming in.
Bro, I get so many fucking emails.
That's where someone needs to step up. Someone on the Na'Vi side. It has to be Rooksik. Second smoke, but can't find the firefight. Sadak delivers a bullet to his brain. That's a 6 for Tiger.
Wait, did we get a replay of what actually happened on that TP? That's a sick shot, by the way. Why didn't... I think we should have got Sagetsu's POV there. That would have been kind of sick to see why he thought it was clear. Hello, Samia? I don't know how to say your name, sorry. Yeah, I remember that Teo drone.
Threat in this round for me is Koala's Bucky, but
I mean, Na'Vi are now eco.
Needs to be mentioned about. So they always had.
So they've essentially lost one legit round right now, haven't they? On defense. 3A. Okay. So Na'Vi did the 2-1-2, and now they've got 3A with the. Yeah, I mean, it is pretty annoying. Oh, hey. Thank you, Sideshot. Do you guys have a name? Are you the eggs? Are you guys the eggs? Do you have like a chat name? Like Sliggy's got the slugs. No, you're stupid. He is the egg. I know he's the egg. Peasants. The Chads. I know you're not fucking Chads. If you're watching Sideshow or me, you ain't Chads. Peasants seems appropriate for the Tory man himself. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's alright. Right. You've caught me at my worst moment, guys. You've caught me at my worst moment. I'm having to watch two teams that I despise. I really don't like watching Casey or Navi play. It, it, it hurts a little bit. Hello, Cairo. The eco ults, yeah, that was true too. So I'm just trying to figure out if there's any little narratives I've missed about this game. So I'm gonna speedrun this one. Hopefully we'll get to a good one where you haven't all disappeared from my Twitch because I'm so bored. I do like how Navi've got like their defense with this comp is looking like it does make sense. But if you're running this composition and it doesn't make sense on defense, then you might as well call it a day. Because they've got so many tools for defense, it's unreal, you know? So like this setup actually makes logical sense, especially in the context of the way the round is going, I guess, or the game is going so far. So I'll give that to Navi. I'll try not to be too much of a dick. So far, KC are showing to me they don't really understand how their composition should be run on attack. On their first gun round, they overcommitted middle. Martin like went through by himself, and I was trying to explain to my chatters that strength of this comp is you kind of prod middle out a little bit, and if the defense is heavy on middle, you can always attack extremities with explosive bursts because you have the Raze and the Euro. Whereas you can't really burst through on the vents and Maelroom as easily with this comp because you don't have Tail or Breach to facilitate the mid take. So it's a game of kind of figuring out how much middle we want. And instead, the last round we watched, like Martin just solo went up with no util. And it's like, well, okay. And then this round, they're doing a ramp default. And I just don't generally think ramp defaults are super effective. Like there are very specific reasons to do a ramp default, I feel like, and I don't think that this comp should really be looking at them that often. I don't really know. The only reason to do a ramp default in my head is that because you suck so much against this orbit middle, that you want a way to bypass it like here. And then you can walk up middle afterwards because the Viper has to retreat after losing ramp control. But yeah. So I'm not sure if KC really understand how to play this composition properly. They should be looking at doing bursts or prodding middle, in my opinion. I mean, they got the pick. So I guess you can say I'm an idiot, but I think overall I'm not loving this so far. Have I missed anything? See this one. See, actual hate, not Sideshow saying everyone's good. I can't be mean anybody on their feelings will get it. I thought that I read recently that people thought Sideshow was because people say that Sliggy is like it was like a thread about something, and then people were like glazing Sliggy's ability to not ever say anything mean. What a fucking skill set he has. And then in context, they're saying like TMV and Sideshow can be like too hateful at times. But I don't watch much co-streaming. So you guys tell me. I thought he was supposed to be, you know, Reddit's telling me he's mean sometimes. Sliggy's become more toxic recently.
Terms of what he has to work with, he still pocketed that poison cloud. One off the pit as
maybe I need to up my game. I'm hoping I could become a bit more of a hater on Platchat today. Because whenever I've been on Platchat before, I've been a coach, and I can't be a hater as a coach. It causes too much drama. So I'm hoping I can at least unleash a little bit today. And then see, when I get more comfortable doing broadcast on the desk and stuff, how can I apply my negative energy there? Because I feel like I don't hate for the sake of hating. I think there's legit reasons. On stream it's easy because I just say fucking noobs and then it's funny, but like I can't do that on the desk. I can't just say these guys are fucking shit, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't come across funny. You really like it when it's a bit of an argument on broadcast? The reasons I hate teams, though, are reasons that it would be hard for other people on broadcast currently to have an argument with me with, if that makes sense. If it's because of, like,
You are again defense equal is
Yeah,
never
I don't.
kind when you find yourself at the back of a
If it's like
road.
specific strategic reasons why they're
What do you
playing
think about here?
like crap,
Navi
I think it'd be harder for
mend the mistake
people
they've
to
made.
argue with me.
We've seen that Na'Vi are very willing
They might not be
to
comfortable
invest
too,
and
if you know what I mean.
upfront some huge ultimates in rounds which don't
If
benefit
it's more
them
broad about like
particularly.
what composition they played or something, I feel like they
Any of
would
the ones that I
argue
think
with me
you can
though.
really cause a problem with here. It's more looking towards that retake.
And I think I was just sorry to cut you off, mate, but like you think that you
I
think
hope
about-
not
I
this
feel like
self
you've got a
glaze.
steel garden
There was I
that
self glazing?
This is the situation we're in. It's hero. The sheriff
Do you
and
feel like
his
Valorant
superstar.
broadcast talent lacks understand sometimes when compared to CS? Blah, 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 blah.
There's two ways of approaching a round after.
The Counter-Strike
You either play it
format,
fast and loose, or do you play it slow and
the
methodical? And KC looking
the
to
kind of
overlap
general
the round.
argument, I guess, is that Valorant
They dot their
is
I's,
not
cross their
supposed to
T's,
be
and Navi
CS,
are
if
like
that makes sense. So like, it wouldn't make
lost
sense to
before
have
trying to respond to
everyone
any
with the
sort of
same
pressure.
skill set.
KC are poking and prodding through
Um,
the map.
And they still have a minute left here.
Like
as well.
having two people like me on the desk yapping
Angel
about
getting up
stuff
from the
might not work in Valorant in the same way.
from the floor of A main. That's where the initial aggression was. Na'Vi kind of hoping that they can shepherd.
Doesn't Valorant require more prep to game than CS? I think that Sean is. I think Sean Garris has that narrative, and I think he's wrong.
Na'Vi having set the precedent.
I think ironically because there's so much more in Valorant, it's almost less about prep. Actually, I don't explain it. I think that teams, I think this whole idea that teams have good game plans and change their game plans and stuff is very overrated. I don't think many teams actually have very good game plans going into games. And I think a lot of the time we read quote game plans as a game plan when it's usually just a team doing something random. Like, I don't think there's actually that much. I know what we did in Fnatic, and I could tell you that our game plans were sometimes specific and sometimes very much focused on our own protocol changes. Whereas a lot of teams, I'm hoping that I get to maybe, if I'm able to do more work like I did with PaperX with other teams, I'd be able to confidently say it. But I'm pretty sure a lot of teams can't handle anti-stratting in the way that we even did it at Fnatic, and I don't think we even did it that deeply. Like, players get overwhelmed so quickly by information that telling them how to play differently doesn't work. There's too much to remember, yes. So like our plan was usually to play within our style and try to figure out the best rounds within our style to use against different teams. And if we really needed to change some rounds, we would. And then on top of that, I would give specific players things they needed to remember about the other team. So like, okay, Durka, when they have Raze ult, can you remind the boys that they like to use the Raze ult A, for instance? And then each player would have like a few things to remember. And I'd remind them that like before we played the game. How do you effectively improve a team if they struggle to take in information? The way that we did it is we had a good structure in the first place to make sure that there was enough information being intook on practice days so that it's not new information when it comes to anti-strats. Like, if you don't know how to play against common meta things in the first place, it's going to make your anti-stratting impossible because you're having to then think about how to react to, like, normal stuff a day before a game. Whereas if you already know what most meta things are on maps, you should be having protocols against them all, and therefore you've already intrinsically anti-stratted most of the teams, if that makes sense. How is this 9-9? A bit of a snowball, right?
utility through this smoke, play around with the timing, shooting the Haunt mid-air is Shao, but still
Okay, let me actually watch some rounds now as the champ.
through mid, he'll go this time.
Yeah, Casey
Plays
once
spot
again.
inside,
I guess they're worried about going for the hard XX. Okay. I'm wrong. Casey are worried about going hard exec mode, I guess, because of the suck and the thorns on the extremities. And so they have a game plan where I feel like they were trying to do a default kind of vibe, but they went middle and lost, and so they're like, well, where else can we default? I guess ramp. And so they're just going ramp now. That's my read. Is that they don't want to fuck with this and this. They wanted to do a default thing. It got shut down middle, so they're going ramp now.
Casey had a free sight, they don't anymore. The wall not yet tripped in that position. They
How on
pulled
earth
out
did
from
that
mid.
happen?
Casey get themselves on site.
I don't think that Navi's comp, even though it's like built for defense, I do think that like if you watch Fnatic play against them, like Fnatic just know how to dismantle this kind of comp, in my opinion. Because it can't take back space, you know? Like it doesn't take back space. Like as soon as it's lost space, this comp can't take it back at all. And then it doesn't have hard hold agents in the way that like the Vice does that can help with the hard holds, but you're losing so much space on defense. Is I guess what I'm saying. You can't fight for space at all. Even middle now with the no Viper is like kind of difficult against teams that know how to actually take middle and not the teams that just don't fucking scale appropriately on smoke timings. Double or smokes is also good for entrenchment on sides. Yeah. But would you rather sit behind a smoke or would you... Like, I guess against this composition, you can get away with that. But like, if you're against Breach Tail, you're not going to be able to just sit on behind a smoke on a side, you know what I mean?
There was any world where Casey were going to get caught off guard fully.
What's your opinion on Vitality right now and less currently? Why are you asking about less in particular? Are you implying something?
Have a different kind of approach. The next round just as important as the last, and that can be said for KC. Most importantly, Stinger in the hands of Martin. The rest have the guns they would like. Sadak the ult. 5 players through the mouth of Main. Outcome. Koalazop has been notified, and Will Shao found out as well. Rook 6 in! Oh,
See, I was talking about this earlier, guys. That flood smoke that teams do now. Like teams are smoking this a lot to flood in. To be honest, it's not really done anything at all. But we'll take it. I was just thinking about Na'Vi. Like I remember at kickoff having this like narrative about Na'Vi that they changed their defense comps their defense setups way too much. And I'm never sure how the young players are supposed to like keep up with all the changes they're making. Or like why they're making the changes and how to rotate around all the changes they make. But I think with this kind of comp, it makes more sense just to be annoying to the attack, I guess. When you've got a defense comp like this, I think it makes sense. When your comp is less defense sided and you're just randomly changing agents around all the time, I think it doesn't work well, especially with young players who need a bit more structure. How is Yoru strong in this meta? It's because of Breach Yoru combo and to counter Viceful. I'm missing something else. Yeah, you're missing the fact that Yoru is a really good agent. You're missing the fact that Yoru is a very good agent. Just flat out. You don't even need to think about all the combos. Like, people try to be smart with stuff when they talk about stuff like that and be like, oh, it's because of this and this and this and this interacts with this. No, it's just, like, it's better than Jett. It is a better agent than Jett.
invested.
Raze is in the worst spot
First
Raze has
couple of
ever
picks
been
were
in, and
collected,
Neon
but
is in
then
a
Na'Vi
weaker
with
spot
the play
than
numbers
usual,
and Rooksik dropping out of
and
tower
Yoru
to
is
support,
in a
double
good spot.
kill, reinforcing the backside space with his smoke as well to his left-hand side.
On any map where you want an
South,
operator,
can he see
Yoru is the best,
overtake those
I
down?
think.
You look at them, like, less almost starting terms that response.
I do think there's obviously more details than what I'm saying, but I think if you're using reasons like, oh, it's just the Breach Teo meta and Vice meta, and then we see Breach Teo disappear and Vice disappear maybe, and teams still play Yoru, then that doesn't answer your question. I mean, I guess Waylay does exist, to be fair. Is Waylay plus KO just the more versatile, fluid version of Jet and Breach? Waylay KO? I don't like KO. I only like KO on Ascent. And even then, I'm like, whatever about it. So, yeah. Although I didn't used to like Breach, but it makes more sense in the Teo meta. So, like, I guess if there was a really strong combo with Waylay, then it makes sense. But I don't think it does combo particularly amazingly with Waylay.
To hang on and not head towards a set.
What do you think about PBL switching from Yoru to Jet almost every map? Do you see any reason behind the beside comfort agent thing? It's a comfort agent thing. Again, like, just because I say I think Yoru is better on every map doesn't mean that you should play Yoru on every map. If you're like coaching Fnatic, you probably need to think like that. Or like Vitality would need to think like that. But if you're PBL, you don't necessarily need to think like that. There's a huge like... you have to look at the goals of your team and figure out what's the best ways to achieve them. And like, what are the odds of us achieving those goals with different philosophical approaches to the game. And I think running Jet on every map isn't going to hit the goals of the teams that I've coached. But if I was coaching BBL, like, that might make more sense. I wonder why Vitality... but like, I would say the same thing about T1, the way they approached the game, and they won a Masters Trophy. So, like, I'm not saying that it can't be done, but like, odds-wise, you're not likely to be consistently doing that, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't think you consistently win Master Trophies doing even what T1 did, if that makes sense.
From all of this on A, Elite is going to be walking on up behind his own wall at a moment's notice, or in fact it's a full cancel as this garage space is taken. It looks like KC want in.
You think that Levin, like, okay. I mean, even in the past games he's played, you can see his, like, just rule stats. Every rule stat of him is better as Jet. He's got a higher rating, better ACS, better KD, better damage per round, better FKFD. Like, I don't think his Yoru was as good as his Jet. His first kills per round, his first deaths per round are even high. His first deaths per round are higher on an agent that shouldn't be going in. Like, so I think you're just wrong. I think you're wrong.
With the dimensional drift which they've just brought up through the ult point. I like that though. You know,
Thinking woman's estrogen. Thinking woman's estrogen. Thinking man's Valorant. Thinking woman's estrogen. It doesn't really make sense, but it's funny. Would a Yoru one trick be viable in tier 1? I mean, bro, like, a Jet one trick's viable in tier 1. It doesn't mean it's good. I think that if you're talking about Exeter specifically, I think that Exeter needs... I don't know if Exeter's good enough as a one trick Yoru. at the moment. Yeah. If they were like pulling up numbers every single time with it, then sure. I think there's still maps where you want Raze player. A Raze player, sorry. Was the breach nerf needed? They've nerfed breach? What? You gotta be shitting me. Were too many teams overcooking Euro in 23-24? What do you mean? It wasn't different. Were too many teams overlooking? Oh, yes, they were overlooking in 24 for sure. Like we got called, we got like everyone said we're out of meta in 2024, but we're one of the few teams like really all in on Euro. 1.2. Wait, so each individual rocket will be consumed one charge. How many rockets do you get? 2. You get 2 charges. It's a terrible agent. Like if you play Teo now, I'm gonna flame you. The drone's still like decent though, but it like you can't justify this agent anymore. It makes no sense. Zero sense. Like he's dead. Like he's gonna fracture. I probably would play Fade though, I think. I low-key liked... I know Anders isn't big on Sova on that map, but there was some shit that we were doing that was pretty sick, I'm not gonna lie. Rolling Thunder starting points. What? Oh, Swift play. Fuck Swift play. Who fucking cares about that? Where's the breach thing? Where's breach? Oh. Why did they do that? This change makes me wonder, like, because I really think that the devs know more than like most people. Like, I genuinely think that like I think if you ask most coaches, I think they'll be like, yeah, the devs are kind of silly. I think the devs actually know more about the game than most coaches do, to be honest. But I think they knew Teo was broken, and I think they now know that he's not playable. But this change makes me think that they're trying to like do something to make sure that he's not played, and they're desperate. And it's like they don't think this is enough, which is weird, because Breach is terrible in ranked. So like, why are they making this change? Yeah, I'm a bit confused.
Hero with the flash,
Okay.
just lay this back up. Does get destroyed, and the drop in not yet here. As he's
Do they win this round? Yeah, they do. Okay. What else do I need to watch? Right. Let me have a look. I was gonna skim through the next VOD as well, the Ascent. Can I be bothered? Do I want to watch this? They do lose. Casey probably should have won if they lose double pistol. How long I got? I got about an hour. Let's skip this one for the moment, because the banger. I haven't watched the banger properly. I was in a meeting when Team Liquid were playing Fnatic mostly, so. Split an icebox.
More pressure, a little bit more sweat. So we're looking at both these teams wanting to get it done the first time around, and as you said, it has been.
Don't forget they buffed Phantom in November or whenever. That was because the rank stats were 45% pick rate Vandal. What do you mean? What are you trying to say?
Always got, of course.
Split again. Let's skip split for the moment because we just watched some split. Let's go to Icebox. I'm sorry, Kim. I know that Kim probably wanted me to watch this one. So, Fnatic are playing a comp that I think is actually really cool. I think that playing Teo is obviously a tick. You need these 3 agents. And then I think you do need one of these 2 agents. I think that teams not playing one of these 2 are fucking up. I guess you don't need both necessarily, but they're playing like no duelist, so I want to see how that works. I really don't like the KO. I don't think it's necessary at all. Like this, if this was Teo, I would give it a big tick, you know.
Last time around, but some of the peak performances I've seen from him.
So I'm gonna look at mostly what Fnatic are doing because they're playing the weird comp. Like I've watched Team Liquid play this comp before. I know how KO Gecko plays. What do I think of Camo playing the Gecko? It's weird that Kiko is. I'm not sure why specifically they wanted Kiko and Camo to switch. The people want to know where your UI is from. My UI? What UI? Fnatic comp change stage to deadlock. You've lost your mind. I'm not using anything different. This is just dark mode on YouTube. Oh, this thing. Oh yeah. It's a fucking pain in the ass, I'm not gonna lie. Because the volume always gets in the way. Like this shit down here always gets in the way of the fucking util in the bottom right of the screen. It's not good. How do I? You can't even move it. It's not good. You don't want it. Okay, so Fnatic doing Viper Wall on A, Teo drone, making it feel like an A. And then they just walk type B. What the fuck are they doing, guys? This is pretty amateur for Fnatic. I don't really. To expect that Viper Wall and drone to be enough to just immediately for Kiko to just be removed from this position is like I think they're thinking the drone in this means that they just rotate and they just stop watching B, but that's not really how it works. So a little bit confused by that one. Especially because Alpha's not even like jiggle peeking it. He's like fucking taking a duel. I guess that is Alpha. Don't you have Plat Chat to attend? I'm doing EMEA for Plat Chat.
It's always exciting to see what he can do of them. Oh, not going too well for either side, but the plant is going to be coming in. Oh,
the timing of that molly was nice. Because it needs to be quite quick. No Viper Wall on the B side of the map makes this post plant difficult. And then this is where fucking Kayak farms here, right? Yeah, that was a good round from him.
I think Milan's hand might be sore again as Scud flexes those muscles. 1-0. And they've gone for wow. And as Scud flexes those
What?
way to start it. I think Milan's hand might be sore again as Scud
Why
flexes those
is he dead?
1-0.
That's really weird.
Gone for, oh wow, Cam's already gone. Already taken out. Gone for a mixed buy here, just 2 pistols. Alfier can take a bit more of a risk. That's exactly what he's gonna do. Hey!
Skipping the Antico.
Was gone to the spot.
Wait, how did that get close?
There's going to be on this map. Just on that one, and where's to play with. Players caught running away. It almost felt like Chronicle just gave up on that one. And well,
Why is Alpha lurking with this plant?
Fnatic definitely have to be careful, just based on cost alone. If they get another one quickly, we might even have to start talking about the round.
Surely not. No, there's enough time, especially with salvos gone in to buy the
Why did he salvo then? Crashy's, I guess, maybe the comms already bad. Crashy shouldn't be salvoing until the tap, right?
Hey, look at the purchase coming up as well for Fnatic. It's about as good as it gets. Not only do they have the rifles, as you highlight, they've got the res available from Kayak.
Res should make this an actual round, right?
Plays an agent that can get a res. We've got the double up.
The fuck is...
Top.
Okay, so that was interesting. So if you get caught pushing forward here, this is kind of cool from Fnatic. You're dead. Because if you come out here, they're just going to shoot you. That's kind of nasty. So against Fnatic, you kind of got to sit here. And if you see the mosh pit coming in... Oh, they fucked up the Sage slow as well. Who fucked up? Kayak, you noob. So Kayak should... Kayak slow was probably going to land down here as well to stop. Oh, actually, was that what happened last round? One sec. Sorry. No, it didn't happen last round. I was wondering if this camo kill was because they slowed and Teo mollied, but they didn't. So they had a combo ready. I don't know if Team Liquid just expect the combo. They seem very cognizant of something. Almost like they pracked each other.
Basically being the bait. Well, the bait's got one, but now
No, Patty took.
second player to be here. Well, already
This bait and switch doesn't work against the Sage res. Like, but... Yeah.
turning it back into a final
Playing against
score.
Sage res means they're going to Sage res eventually anyway, I guess. But you're just kind of hoping that Kayak doesn't get 2 Sage reses this half. Like, I don't mind them playing like more of a retake style against the Sage res, so the Sage res gets no value.
Not bad. Not bad at all. They can afford to play that little
Are you
bit more
not
aggressive.
defending the train at Platchat today? I'm on the EMEA show,
Very nasty
so
spots.
I'll immediately
Won't
come
see
in and
very
ask
often
Sideshow
into the round. He's with the only
why, you know, with Sliggy's absence, why,
spotted him and he won't
I'll take over from Sliggy.
It's very much expected. Boaster still up in the spawn with that rotation, able to catch him. And now it's a 5 versus 3. Team Liquid won the opening duel.
I could
It's
play it
still
2 ways. Like, I could play it 2 ways. I could say Sliggy's a fraud because there was no whimsy to what Flitziggy was doing. He knew I was working with Paper X and was like, let's just, you know, let's get behind Paper X. Or, like, in reverse, I could say that Sliggy doesn't respect me as a coach at all. So why wasn't on Sideshow on the train like him? Like, it was an obvious train to get on. Like, I was on the train, Sliggy's on the train. Why is Sideshow not on the train? But I'd have to frame that as Sliggy, because, yeah. I could frame it either way. I could be like, Sliggy clearly, you know, thinks the world of me. Or, let's be real, like, Sliggy's Sliggy's on fraud watch when I'm around. Or I'm on fraud watch when Sliggy's around. So why would he all in on Paper X?
He's given them a chance in this round. It looked like an impossibility. Zero biggest shot. This surprise element has also
I think I just flame Sideshow.
being up.
I think I flamed them all.
Isn't the biggest shock now they've left this side
Should I
for
just
so long.
flame them all?
Immediate trade. Nats does well though. He's given them a chance in this round. It looked like an impossibility. Serial trying to fight on that cross. Still not able to
I will use the phrase. I like the phrase that Sliggy had where whenever they talk about T1, he describes them as Masters winners T1. Like, the best team in the world.
Yeah, going up on a top site with 11
I will
HP is
continue
a
that one
risky
too, I
play,
think.
With the wall being up, gave him that little bit of room to maneuver, and he spots the barrel through it. This initial fight, though, something that shouldn't have went in his direction.
He's been anti-train since the train was electric.
The shots did not land, at least not in a meaningful way. That sliver of
our train, wait, but our train was
difference between
a steam
terrible
train.
start to a map that Team Liquid
So shouldn't he be on the train if he hated it since electric?
them stabilizing.
Because I was shoveling coal,
Ammo, I mean, that is
and I don't think you're supposed to shovel coal off as an electric train.
taken down too as Kiko falls. It's a 5 versus
Any thoughts on G27 and MIBR? They're all very good, to the point where I'm very worried for EMEA.
Timing running through the salvos.
immediate advantage.
Hybrid electric coal train. Is that actually a thing?
Through the salvos, but
My step granddad is a train spotter,
aggression is met
and
the patience.
he likes steam trains a lot.
Alfie already looking
I think Mimi would get on with him.
serial standing and not
Fourth two is, well, I mean, that is not pretty. Them stabilizing,
Where's
but
he
now
going?
being in a pretty reasonable
Where's he
spot.
going?
Ammo, I mean, that
Okay,
is
so Fnatic.
aggression is met
Did they lose this round? No. Okay, so Fnatic looking hot.
certainly in a good spot for Fnatic this round.
Did they lose to a fucking eco?
a chance. And a right place though for Liquid, but well, they're expected to make pretty much every stack in the right place though.
Did they lose this round? What is this? Look at where. Look at. Look at where our fucking Neon player is. Our fucking Sage Neon. What's going on? Like, we had like rules in Fnatic where like Durka wasn't allowed to satchel into sites against this kind of buy. I didn't think it would go. I think it'd go without saying that like if you're a Sage, you probably shouldn't be
For Liquid,
giving it like
that's
this.
really all they've got in their favor.
Oh, one pick for Nats. Rifle now in his hands.
Oh, and this turret.
The work
Okay,
is
they got a
done.
killjoy. Oh, oh,
Even with
the-
the Guardian.
oh no.
Lockdown coming into play. Nats finally
And then the flank comes in. Okay, it's fine. Kiko doesn't win this, surely. He does win this. Does he actually win this? If Fnatic lose this round, is because of they lost this game because this round. If it happens,
But salvos will come online. Ult is there, but they're not looking for any of that. They want to fight. That could be a mistake.
Looking to try and find where both these players have gone to. They have now fallen back into more passive positions. There go the salvos, still unaware remotely of where these players are, even going to commit an Armageddon. Just
okay. Do they use Viper ult and fucking? They use Killjoy ult and Tail ult against Nico.
they turn the clock there.
Okay, so not bad, but
Having
they're
some
4-1 up.
expectation, maybe the battle for the orb with a few players getting that little bit closer for Fnatic, but more
what are your top 3 to top 5 bit troll players of all time? Soka Som's probably up there. Ugh. I think that when you look at a play, like it's gonna sound mean, but like you're giving me players who are like when they were in their quote bit trolls, they were just not fragging very well. So I think to call the player who's in a bit troll, just I don't think there was a game plan around those players to be playing like that. They just didn't frag as well as they should have done. Like, yeah, so I don't think I agree. I agree with the fact that Zoms brought value in spots where people wouldn't realize at times, but should be fragging more than he did. I mean, Kron is a better example, but people won't say it about Kron because Kron is consistently better.
potential of the Thrash being the one ult available for Chronicle.
Like something that I did with Kron was at one point he was playing really well on Viper, and we realized that he might have to play Cypher on some maps if we wanted Alpha to play ISO. And I remember trying to be like, I remember thinking like he might not take this well because it's kind of a shit role to be given. And I do remember being like, look, you're already like, at the time, this sounds controversial, but at the time I was like, you're better than Nats at Viper already. Like, let's try and do that for Cypher too. And that was the way I kind of motivated him and thought he might take it better. And I thought this was a funny game that they're playing against each other because, like, look at this. Like, they're literally neck and neck with the Viper here. He took it pretty well. I don't know if what I said was the reason why he took it better. But he seemed pretty fine about it. In a way that I was like, okay, that conversation went fine.
It's a very clear early plan, but it's already disrupted, Tom. You see that the Killjoy doesn't have a turret down. It's because salvos are targeting that early on.
You ever lied to your players when you motivate them? Yeah, yeah. Yes. Kron had a rough time on Icebox. He did, but he if you excuse this Icebox, like, look what he did on the other maps. Like, it kind of ludicrous, to be honest. What did you say? What did someone just say? Lying to players to motivate them. It's not like I don't really like to lie, but I would admit certain things, of course. I'm not going to tell a player they're shit when I think they're playing shit. You know what I mean? But I will pretty, like, I'm going to address the fact they're playing shit in a way that means that, you know, there needs to be improvements. So yeah, it's not so much lying, it's just being a human about it, I guess. Someone else has something good as well. Is Nats the best fragger in the world right now? IGL fragger in the world? Yeah. It's a question as to whether his calling is better than Valens, though. Like, because obviously, it's always a trade-off on some degree between fragging and dry gelling a little bit. But obviously, like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I don't think Nats is one of the best at it right now. Like, he is clearly amazing.
So that's a round that Fnatic are going to be obviously not happy to lose, but the amount invested on the other side, the panic shown early on, that doesn't say that, oh, well, they've got to
You're glad you're out of Kron Senti season? Yes. I don't think that would have. Yeah. Like, if I was Fnatic last off season, it would have been something I'd explored. Would have explored, but I don't think Kron was as comfortable in Cypher as, like, his Viper. Like, my logic was that because he was really good at Viper, like in 2024, the only person better than him on Viper was Leaf, I think, statistically. And they were both way better than everyone else, I think. And so my logic was like, if you can play Viper, then you should be able to play Senti. But I think he was just much better at Viper. He did his job well on Cypher, though. He facilitated the team. He facilitated what we could do with the team with Alpha on the ISO. But I don't think it was a long-term solution. Right, let me actually lock in. So 4v5. So Fnatic can write this round off a little bit. Yellow control. Why are they not going A? Why do they want to go B? Oh, it's shit gun round.
Camo goes walking towards yellow. This might be a bit of a nasty surprise, but it has been spotted. Nats going forward gets seemingly caught, but never mind. He'll find two again. Individually.
Yeah, I don't really understand what this clearing yellow stuff is about. I don't think you don't need info to clear yellow. In reference to what Kim was saying earlier. Sorry. If no one's keeping up with what I'm saying. Thinking out loud. So where did we see this Sage slow coming in? Oh, it's on the orb itself. Okay. So the slow is on the orb.
Again, early usage
I think they might have two different slows. Probably one here to stop the orb grab, and then one to punish.
Just to deny any control of the orbs for the defensive side.
So far, Kiko's operator has been valuable.
Any bonuses
I'm wondering if this is a reason why Fnatic struggle after these rounds.
early by Liquid, then
Thank you,
maybe
Beast.
had
Thank you, Beast.
multiple players challenging towards that B side, but it
Yeah,
still seems to
mid's
be
not
the
very good on this map.
ultimate point of contention. Thrash, Rez, Viper's Pit available for Fnatic, but Viper's Pit up against a lockdown is pretty much the perfect counter.
I'm good, I'm good. Why are Fnatic keep going B? Why do they keep going B? I guess they can plant B with this comp.
To play with. Slow creep up from Alfier in mid.
And they got the Viper ult.
To creep under tube. That's somewhere that I think it's one of the only gaps
Why?
for Team Liquid that we've seen so far.
I don't get confused is what they're doing. Why are they...
Dropping that wall now, and that's going to delay them by quite a bit. Put the time very, very low. It even stops the orb from going up in middle. So
What's the what in the melons are they doing?
and all the while, as you pointed out, Tom, these rotations.
Why? What?
Liquid got 4 players ready for the fight. Oh, already.
Sorry, my confusion here is I like what they're doing, I guess, but with these ults, like, don't we just want to send... Shouldn't we just use the ults? You could do like a... Yeah. Like, just secure the plant and Viper ult, surely. Why are they trying to do like a site fight against... with...
Up in middle, so Alpha can't really do anything about this. And all the while, as you
He's entering on Sage and has res. Yeah, I mean, there's a problem.
Team Liquid,
There's a problem.
4 players ready for the fight.
He's got...
Oh, already. Camo goes swinging in. He was low. Kiko's done well, but Kayak's there with the trade. Plant
No charges left.
Why is Bosa not ulting?
come through. Potential for the res. There isn't going to be the spam. It's actually Kayak. that goes down. In fact, they all start to fall, and now the
I don't really understand what Fnatic are doing. This is like, if I wasn't watching Fnatic, if I covered up the names, I would say that was 100% not Fnatic that round. A bit confused what they were doing. And now they're gonna be low by...
There were 4 players in position.
Oh yeah, it was Kayak that got killed. Screwed.
Challenge under tube. I said it was a one. They said too many bodies to break the wall now. Challenge under tube.
Why do they care so much about B?
Not in this. Camo has his eyes set on the prize. The players coming under deleted immediately. Correct. Even if he
Mid. Just a week.
So they've lost the round because they got operated at the start of the round. They've lost the round because they're trying to go B with not using their ult. So now they've lost another round doing the same kind of thing. Okay, now they go A.
consistently looking for the
Seen them take many a time. You look at the ultimates they have so much to a lot of
rotates knowing they'd be that.
They're fucking slow, aren't they? Jesus Christ.
They were rotating. They go right into his waiting arms, and like you said, he's right back.
And now the Viper ults.
The pit is up. Luckily, he's got a shorty to play with. The downside is that lockdown put into play.
Teo ult to counter.
And Nano to cover them on the cross. But as you said, Nano, the other side puts in a lockdown. Luckily, they're able to.
Oh, is Nats gonna survive in this fucking corner?
Stuck on the site, but is the defense going to be good enough to keep him alive?
He does. That's kind of sick by Nats. Oh, that's kind of sick. Oh, oh, that's so dumb.
A pit in the other direction as Boaster will try to starve them of any space to play around. And it
Whoa.
looks like it's working. They've ran into Kayak.
Did they just have Kyoja ult last round?
Finally, the defuse underway. It's
My response to that is, why don't they just go... Why are they trying to go B then, I guess?
players need to get on it fast.
Player standing.
down into that 1v1 now.
Yeah.
Stick it all the way through the wall. Crashies goes.
Hey, Crashy wins that round.
Quarter of a bar away.
Going again.
Yeah, if they had Kyoja ult the round before, I see what you're saying.
No fear. This time,
But then my counter is just like, why go B?
but he's in trouble. Gekko's ulti throws.
Or at least like...
Kale, he won't be caught though. Still safe. That Thrash might not
Yeah.
recover him.
Gonna need a fair amount to do so. In fact, they might even need the sight him off. Eco's still just looking for angles to be had, but with 15 pieces of utility being put into that backline, not really.
Why is he not planning?
The whole wall already broken, and that's what We see it again. Just an attempt to try and re-aggress before they even get to the site. Spike will be dropped, but Alfio
Okay.
comes in kind. Looking for a little
It was 6-6. Okay, not bad. Why did they fuck up their defense?
After the leg up in their court.
Not a bad stat to come out with. 47% on their attack when they misses. Right, Fnatic not one picked for a reason. But again, if history serves us right, Fnatic normally having those crazy performances over on the attack, they do have an awful lot of stall and potential for denying plants.
I think I remember Kak uses wall here.
So it utilized
Yeah.
the deny map.
Bro, my memory's good.
Now it's the plants that they'll be looking to push back. Team Liquid deep in with
It's not
Nico. He's been getting aggressive.
my favorite use of the wall, because they couldn't hold that at all, but
Can already get them a plan.
I think he gets lots of kills here, right?
Underneath. How are they going to deal with him? It's a risk to go swinging in that deep, but
Yeah.
it almost works out. But Kayak up to his old tricks.
I was in a meeting in a room where Valorant was on the TV, so I was clearly not paying attention to the meeting. Okay, they lose the round eventually, though. What could they have done better this round?
Fnatic normally having those crazy performances over.
I mean, they've essentially played retake A
They do have an awful lot of
without a Sage wall
potential for denying
and with no
plants. I think
flanks.
that's going to be difficult for Liquid.
Now it's the plants that they'll be looking to push back. Team Liquid deep in.
And no
Nico.
kick. They,
Aggressive on the
they,
defense.
I don't know. They're playing like a retake style, but they've used all their fucking util. Like, look, they've used Teo Sabers, they're using Wingman, they've used the Flash, they've used the Sage Wall. So, like, how are you supposed to retake now? It's like they're stuck between set retaking and flooding. It's weird.
Up to his old tricks here in the pistol. It's a triple off the classic, but still a 2 versus 2. He goes in through the orb, wrapping around. But
I like this wall sometimes, though, especially on a pistol round. I don't mind this wall. I guess you could argue it's better, like on pistol, it's even better here because they can't spam it. But like, I don't hate it as an idea sometimes to throw in. But they didn't have. It wasn't like they were prepared to play around the weird wall. Do you know what I mean? The aggressive wall. Sorry. They were stuck between a lot of ideas there. It felt like.
We go back to the first half pistol, and that's all you need to know. And it seems like the immediate.
You assume that's why, yeah, Bowser didn't Viper ult. That's fair. But then my next question would be, why did they go B?
Because of it.
Like, if you know that, yeah, the team can retake with the Killjoy ult really easily, the first, like, why go B? And then the second question is, like, he could still have got it down aggressively somewhere, like, to deny, like, to make the Killjoy have to ult somewhere that's, like, less effective, maybe? Yeah. But that might have been more difficult in the moment. But I'd just be like, they could just Sage Wall here and just ult fucking deeper here or something. And then they can't just immediately Killjoy ult anywhere in the space. And if you Killjoy ult here, I don't think it actually reaches far enough to do much. What would you consider to be the default comp in Icebox? There isn't a default comp right now. I mean, it should be like... I thought teams would play Gecko a lot more. I thought it'd be like Gecko Tail for most teams. I remember this round. It was pretty nice. Actually, no, I don't remember this round. I remember a round where Kiko lurks on A. Underneath. They're very ready for this idea. Did they scrim each other or something? Like, they both seem to know what each other are doing a little bit.
This was a gap that Team Liquid left on their defense, and they're exploiting it immediately already in kitchen.
Kron should be waiting here, I think. Oh no. I guess Alpha... If Alpha's on the bridge, this flash would be good for him to peek. Yeah.
There's a lot of players around this spot, but none of them really
Is this because of... No.
being able to deny. It comes down to Boaster.
Oh.
Do the damage. And what we
What is his crosshair?
spoke about his individual
Kron,
level
man.
going through the roof.
Okay, so Team Liquid int by doing one of the weird splits that never work on this map.
I can't wait if that's the case. Give me more Mazzino on the Sage. He was the king. He Okay. An early dink already. I believe that was... Leaves them in a... Over on the other side. A res for Kayak, but he can't bring himself back if he goes down. And is clear for Kayak. Is
And a very spammable. Then he takes a fight. Well, will be just 2 away from that Viper's pit.
Are they gonna lose this retake?
Happy to play the retake. The res there.
Why does Kron not have flash?
And bring him so desperately low. But with 4 players already on this side of the map, the gamble really is over on the other side. A res for Kayak, but he can't bring
He used it
himself
like
back if
that?
he goes down and, well,
I don't love that Fnatic are being very wishy-washy with these flashes. They don't have a flash for the retake now.
And it will be disrupted immediately. The salvo's doing well to put them on the back.
The Gecko flash is too good.
And all Fnatic need to do is trade. Crashies goes down. As Serial picks up the double. It's Camo to
Yeah.
the retake. The res there. Kayak doesn't want to be the one taking contact. But look at this setup on backside. A high-low coming in from Camo and Serial. And it will be disrupted immediately. The salvo's doing well to put them on the back foot in this initial fight. And all Fnatic need to do is trade. Crashies goes well to a stable player. Crashies gets
Oh shit.
but he's got the res to bring Crashies back into play. A valuable player indeed. No ultimate and no salvos just yet. It's all about the swing. And he's
I mean, everything from Team Liquid was like, they hit the right shots at all the right moments too. Crashies does clutch though.
The first time I've seen that. He's getting hyped. He stood up and he's hyping Crashies up.
Does it make sense for teams to not show their actual team comp in scrims? Or is it better they play their actual comp in scrims? It is better to play your actual comp in scrims. Bro. Bro. There's no point in me being a coach if you're not fucking playing your normal comps. Have you seen how Heretics used Neon in this map for their fast retaking on A? It was incredible. I did because I casted the game they did it on. So I do remember because I was having to explain it. What are your thoughts on abilities that hit without line of sight? I think that this line of sight stuff is fine. Ease of use, like I do think that abilities should be relatively easy to use. There should be a trade-off. Like KO's flash is hard to use, but it should be better than. I don't think his flash is good enough to justify how hard some of the flashes are, though. But that's the trade-off, right? Like it should be the trade-off. Teo ease of use has no trade-off, though. There's no agent that can do what Teo can do in the same way. You know what I mean? It's not. I don't think it's quite comparable. If that makes sense. I think that Teo should still remain a agent that can do the things he can do right now, because stylistically that's just really cool. But like they should just nerf the way the salvo, like the size or damage of the salvos. The way I think about it more is like raised nade is better than salvos at certain things. Do you know what I mean? That's the way I think about KO flash versus other flashes. But unfortunately, Teo salvos are just generally way better. Teo 25 is Sky 23. I don't think so. I don't think it's quite the same. I think that Yoru enables agents like Teo. Well, no, I guess not, because Breach enables it. Part of Sky's downfall is Yoru existing, I think. I don't think Sky should be played if Yoru exists on some level. I know it sounds like a weird way to look at it, but yeah, Teo's dead for Toronto. I mean, Team Liquid just keep Fnatic are losing retakes.
Everyone taking these duels. Ult put into play. Nats falls back, but Kiko still close. Gets his blade storm, but he won't.
So that's 2 big retakes Fnatic have lost, right?
Wrap around from Patatek, not expected. They are thinning out the herd, leaving it down near the back.
Portage, X almost guaranteed. That one go down. Be careful.
Covering. They're gonna play this squad if they bonded in by Chronicle. Who
I think I got the narrative if Fnatic lose this one.
He's defending his stunned up teammates. The
Yep.
Salvos barely avoided a sliver of health left. Good flash. Patty's blind, goes swinging deep, and they'll get another rifle out of that. When that's already
Now that wingman is needed, Kron.
Salvos barely avoided a sliver of health left. Good flash.
He needs to save that wingman. I think they Sage will defuse here though, right? I think they should be fine. Yeah. There we go. Okay, so they win this round. Okay. So 2 of the retakes were shit. 1 of them was fine.
They made the changes they needed to, and now that's not going to be any. They need this map and the nightmares. That battle not favorable for Nats. They've got the weapon.
Oh.
It's going to be defended by the Mosh Pit. Kiko goes deep.
God almighty, can we fucking peek together, boys?
With a ton of success, even on 2 HP.
What's the time?
Survive, but the rest of his squad has fallen.
4:30. Okay, I'll go soon.
Kayak styling. Spurs pride. They close this round down, but I think.
Seek and what a way it would be to book in your slot for Masters events. Not somewhere they've done well recently.
Bro, you can't... I'm so confused. We can't be doing TikTok walls when the other team has a KO ult because now we've got no Sage wall to retake with. And then Boaster... It feels weird to do TikTok wall shit on this side and not have Boaster ready to just counter ult on A or something.
Potential return to form. Masters events. Not somewhere they've done well recently.
I think with massively crashy.
Oh god, they got KO ult into fucking Killjoy ult.
There's been huge, but
Bro, if Boaster was ready to Viper ult on the site,
down available to them.
and then the Killjoy ult was used to get him out of the ult rather than in post plant, that would be
Buy a little bit of extra
a potential round win, but
instead.
this is hard.
Liquid have used this to get positioning of their own. In fact, look how far forward they sit.
Yeah, Team Liquid got a protocol how to deal with this. They're just playing stupidly forward.
Viper's pit out of play, and a lot of the hope of this round with
Their own time they don't.
Part of this is though that like Fnatic have not once done a good... Like they don't need to disrupt backline, but the fact that like these positions would be completely exposed a little bit by a little bit of prodding on the backline. They'd feel a lot less comfortable playing like this, I feel like.
Last time out, they were able to buy a little bit of extra space to get into position instead.
Yeah,
Liquid have used
I think Bosa doesn't like using Viper ult on this map maybe, which is rough.
in their slowing playing, and well, in that round at least,
Is this gonna... I think this is... Okay, I got a narrative about Fnatic, I think.
been a back and forth.
The same happened on Fracture. They don't know how to adapt. Like, they're losing A every round.
Fanatics and Infindo. So lot
In favor for this round, and you can see boasted. Well, seconds as they go running in. Then with Armageddon.
That's massive by Kiko.
So far forward, and even hearing some of the steps, it all comes down to this fighting with the site. And also,
Salvo's already sent through. Here comes Armageddon. It's
Again? Are they gonna...
not deep enough.
Okay.
They'll actually just about get in, but they're swinging in for the fight.
Okay.
Blades fall, and he has Nats alongside him. This is Thrash also available.
Where does Boaster die from?
To brawl, and he has Nats alongside him. This Thrash also available. Kiko
Oh, he just gets owned.
is just looking to brawl, and he has Nats alongside him. This is not a sneaky beaky lurk. This is a run straight down mid plane. And already it has ended in an even scenario. Straight out with the Thrash, but Serial
Why is
looking to
Alpha-
give them the advantage. Enters looking to brawl, and he has Nats alongside him. This is not a sneaky beaky lurk. This is
Yeah, I'm not...
straight down mid plane.
It's not like I don't like what Fnatic are doing defense, but it doesn't seem like they're doing...
But Serial's the one to give them the advantage. A really good
Like,
opportunity here for Liquid
Just...
to take the lead.
It's not convincing.
Axe being caught. Luckily, Chronicle has it, but while he's busy defending his teammate, there's a flank all the way around.
A lily, a ledge, a
Viper's pit online for Boaster. One away from Alpha Air's lockdown. And then
Another TikTok wall.
Liquid just going straight in.
Bro,
to
where's that Viper ult?
and then another Viper's
The
pit
year is
online.
2025.
Away from Alpha Air's lockdown.
Alpha gets ult on A.
Aggressive play from Team Liquid, just going straight in. He's got a play of his own, up on the wall.
The drone flank is clear.
Deny the plan.
It's definitely going to make things a lot tougher. It's not like the other side where there's a...
Okay, so Fnatic buy loads of time with the ult, and then if Team Liquid ever do decide to come back, then they got the Viper ult ready on defense.
The response that is there is
They can't be letting this plant go down though. What?
of those lockdowns. Plant will be found by
Oh, that's rough.
through and while Camo is going to be caught. There's not really
They
anything
lose
they
it.
can do about
What?
Just whether or not they can punish.
Straight in, lockdown, and then another. We move
They know Nats is one away.
regulation. Viper's pit online for Boaster. One away from
They had to
Alpha
save the
Air.
Killjoy ult.
Another aggressive play from Team Liquid,
Bro.
just going straight
I think Fnatic have fucked up some of their ults.
This time expecting perhaps an adaptation from Fnatic, but Kayak's got a play of his own, up on the wall. He won't find the pick, but they do deny the plan.
It's definitely going to make things a lot tougher. It's not like the other side where there's a sage wall or something to respond. The response that is there is the usage of those lockdowns. Plant will be found in this pit.
Yeah, they got no way to deal with the Viper ult anymore.
Camo is going to be caught. There's not really anything that can
What are the important things to focus on when trying to adapt? I mean, I just mean like they know
They can definitely
they were getting abused on A, and they didn't know how to deal with it.
that swing. Camo comes out of the ult, no longer detained and able to take down Alpha Air. A problem brewing.
Like Fnatic usually focus on their own protocols to deal with certain things. So like if they don't get to a match and know how to deal with certain things, they usually don't
It's too much to handle. Chronicle with it all to
have the best adaptation because they adapt to stuff before they get to the match, if you know what I mean. Would I be doing analyst casting in Toronto? No.
claims the map.
No.
And we go all the way to Fracture.
I'll be doing desk more for stage 2. Do I like desk or casting more? The irony of it now is that I actually like casting more, but like because Hypok's back, like I'm just not going to be able to do it more. So like I have actually quite when I first started, I didn't enjoy it much because I was too shit at it. Whereas now I feel like I definitely have stuff to work on, and I don't feel the space enough, but I do enjoy it now. The problem is, Deluxe, I don't know if you can carry me the same way Pansy does, so like I'm almost like I feel like I might actually I'm obviously more suited to the desk, I think, but I do think that I've become almost more comfortable at casting. But that might just be that because Pansy carries me. Whereas the desk, I felt very stiff. Like the last 2 times I did it, I felt really stiff. But that's because I've only done it like 5 times or something. So I feel like the last cast I did felt like I was better than usual because I enjoyed the game. I was excited. But I definitely think there were moments where I was like not speaking enough. Are you supporting Fnatic for Toronto? Then no. Absolutely fucking not. Right, I've got 15 minutes. I was supposed to skim KC versus Na'Vi, but I didn't. I guess I watched Split. I remember that. I haven't watched this. At least I can't remember it. Should I quickly look?
Series reset. Come to before.
It was both teams were shit at defense, right? It was abysmal on defense. I can't remember why they were shit at defense. I just remember being like, these teams don't know how to play defense.
TP, he's fully sent this. With the Omo. out his network history. That's got to be looking at Martin going towards to keep his life. Na'Vi coming straight. Oh, Naves with one more. He does, and as the oh my god.
It's alright.
Cooks that one's box in terms of what in play. The role the folks at home absolutely interested. Oh, that's fine.
I guess it's rough because Na'Vi lost so much early.
But walks into Danger, and Danger fires back. Sadak with one, Hero here out in the open, and down the long hallway of Kitchen, it's a lot with water by the Hero back to main aim. Facing skin comes up. Player only just age it must. Casey threats that lie consistently looking at them. Hero, Shao, and Angel on the other side of Spawn, and they're happy to commit it here. Yeah, they've sent it back in, and they've able to get one, but at the same time, is completely clear. 5 Na'Vi play.
The eco tail ults, man.
To in layering of smoke. The question is, with the knife coming back,
Full retake A. Oh god. It's just really basic mistakes happening on defense right now.
This Na'Vi defensive setup, he will know back when utility or sure he has the space for the spike plant. All over from Koala, Na'Vi post his own and Na'Vi aggressively. Marty out. It was the salvos as well that we saw.
They just defuse, right?
Cluster on site right now, but Angel is just sticking this.
Yeah.
Walk down mid. To frisk KC. Oh, it's info again, but a quick trade. Get rid of his weapon out away this, and a strong coming back and spike plan going to be successful here, but Na'Vi are coming straight in. They're going to be quick here. They are immediately on the site. Shao picking up his first. Angel right by his side, looking like another successful retake. That's unless Sugetsu can do something to a sense of life to really himself. Not to mention he can be place and then just flooding, not allowing KC to actually get the kind of setup that they want. And when this chaos does break out, well, both teams having similar.
Who do you think will win Toronto?
Actually is from both teams right now. KC
G2?
To challenge his operator. That's a fight to look towards. Is different angle, fresh perspective from the previous idea. That was point straight into this. Angel goes solo. Sadak taking the duel.
Oh, that's a hell of a shot on the exit.
Backtracking his footsteps. Shao into the utility.
Christ.
It just feels like any it's good. His odds than what we've seen.
Hero 1v3?
Point, it starts well.
I mean, I'd still cry. The defense has been abysmal.
It gets better. Certainly not the first 1v3 I've seen him pull off this stage. It won't be the last either. Towards BB for Na'Vi. The entry, see, this has been a massive through all round. Like they get not ability to work with and Ruxic. Spam! Sadak just reverse engineering the smoke, plops down the molly and Spike goes in. Sugetsu still hanging at that. Ow! How? See this battle start. Elite though is the one who gets down to Martin ahead of the mark and will even find.
Oh god.
Buying more time for his teammates to come and support him. No. How be? But we that. They're to situation. Lost it was straight into. As you say, it's the Angel going on. Dizzy in. Players blinded in that AOE. So as it drops, Shao's able to recover, and Na'Vi gets close, not spotted though. I mean, could to come and support him from Koala? Still not spotted though. While he sits around in this position, KC will invest utility to try and clear. So yeah, so 1 versus 1. Just has got some split the flashes, have all the utility. Now I've got to spike, but
The amount of mid deaths is incredibly high for defense. I'm not gonna lie. It just looks like a shit show. There's a lot of shit show defense stuff happening. Did Na'Vi win the winning this? No, okay, KC won.
Koala investing the ult back towards his own spawn, I believe, so just faking out the possibility of a flank. But KC set up for the right
Casey threw so many rounds.
Lockdown comes in. And they've got a combo util.
Who are the most disciplined and drilled teams apart from G2? Heretics, Sentinels, probably.
And now Navi are left
Do you
stuck.
think more
Spurs
teams
are
should be the
trying to get
Apex
into the
22?
site. There's another. Gonna have to use the thrash to do it. But at the same time, like the utility and response
Oh,
to Casey's
that is like,
down to these gunfights.
it's good when you got Sage Wall to help you, what you're talking about. Because you put the Sage, if you put this wall down, and they're stood here or here, they can just kill you. But like we used to do one where like we'd have the Sage Wall here, the wall comes down, and then you can kill them, and the Sage Wall kind of protects you a little bit.
With the one-way smoke set up, you've got Abez here for contact.
Okay. I shouldn't have to know. Like, let's be real. Like, the only reason there's so many matches is because we had a 4-day fucking week. Like, I can't be expected to remember everything from all these matches. So, right, I gotta fuck off to Platchat. Center disciplined, should be. Right, I'll see you in a bit. Thank you, everyone. I'll be streaming more at certain points now that I'm back from Berlin. But gonna go. Should I raid someone? Is there anyone worth raiding? You have about 10 seconds to tell me who to raid. If not, I'm just canceling the stream. Because I can't see who's on. Sack it.